Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey of the Morning. I am your host, the Ranting Monkey. It is Halloween, guys. Hope you guys are having a great day out there. Got something scary for you tonight. More of the Tim Cenk discussion. Ooh, trick or treat, I guess. Yeah, we got some other stuff to talk about too, but that's going to be the main portion of the show. Again, we'll get to in just a little bit here. Before the show in chat, I was asked if I was going to mention what's his name, Adam Johnson's death in a hockey game. I didn't know anything about it till I saw your comment there. I looked it up. Yeah, it looks like the other player deliberately kicked him and ended up slicing his neck and killing the guy. I don't really have much to say about it other than it's kind of fucked up. And the guy, at least from where I'm sitting, looks like he needs to be charged with, at the very least, some manslaughter for that. Good God almighty. But yeah, so I just don't know anything else about it. And I'm not a hockey fan, so it's not even something that was on my radar. Horrible that he died that way. And for all the people who are watching, damn, what a horrible thing to see live. Just slit the guy's neck open with a hockey skate. Whoopsie. This is why you don't kick people in hockey. Yeah, and I was wondering because I'd seen when I go and look and a freak accident kills hockey player. Skate hits his neck. I'm like, how in the hell did that happen? He actually kicks his leg up pretty high and catches the guy right in the neck. And it oof, not a good thing. Excuse me. Guys, I'm having a problem with my throat. You'll hear me clearing my throat a lot more even than I did last night. I don't know what the hell's going on with it, but hey, Nets, how you doing, sweetie? Happy Halloween to you as well. The last night's show, we talked quite a bit about Mr. Cenk and some of the stupid shit he said, because of course we did. And there's a moment that comes up in this where he's talking about how angry and horrible the right wing is. And he tells us this story about some place that he went up in Northern California, and he almost got violently assaulted. He almost. All right. Well, several people hunted down the video for me, and I guess we should take because it's pathetic. It is really pathetic. So this is the video. Let me toss this into chat because, guys, it is on my internet. We are going to be choppity. So if you want to watch it yourself, I'm throwing it into chat for you guys right now. You can do so at your leisure. But we are going to look at it here and look at it the best we can here. It was the CAIR event, right? Yeah, this is a CAIR event with Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, shut down when patriots demand respect, Trump and USA. Now, that's kind of accurate, but not exactly. Before we get to it, though, happy Halloween, Jack. How are you?
Good. How are you? Happy Halloween.
I am. I'm well. Thank you for asking. That's how you're supposed to, right?
That was unconvincing, but acceptable.
I mean, I could lie to you like I just did. So anyway, Jack, I was just telling the folks that the video of Cenk getting almost assaulted was sent my way. I don't know if it was sent to you or not. Have you seen it?
I don't think so. No, I have not seen this.
Oh God. All right. They're discussing things, and this is at a CAIR event. Hang on. I got to check my own volume to make sure that I'm hearing. Okay.
Immigrants in this nation, and now more than ever. Thank you.
Are you referring to legal or illegal immigrants?
I'm just going to pause it right here so we can take a look at what the crowd looks like. Do you see a lot of young, violent people there?
Depends how old you are.
It's mostly senior citizens. And yes, faithless CAIR, the other terrorist organization. Yeah.
Ask questions after these series of questions. We're going to go to Ken. You're going to give the mic to the left side. Thank you.
All right, now it's Cenky's turn.
So
I'm not a normal Democrat.
Now let's remember that how he said this argument went down. He just said something a little bit against Trump, and they all lost their fucking mind. Because how dare you? That's how I'm not getting that wrong, am I? I'm remembering his description of this.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. All I did was criticize Trump a little bit, and they lost their damn minds. I almost got assaulted.
No, they're freaking out.
They're freaking out.
I'm not a run-of-the-mill Democrat. I don't know if this is working.
I'm special. He is special.
All right. I'm not a run-of-the-mill Democrat. I'm very aggressive. I believe in counter-striking. So when
keep that in mind, what he just said there, and he's going to explain what he means. I believe in counter-striking. Because over on Timmy Pool, he's trying to come off as this almost conciliatory guy.
Yeah,
I know, like everybody just gets so angry about stuff.
Oh, they get angry when I play Counter-Strike. I get angry too.
You should see my kill-death ratio. Different Counter-Strike, Cenk. All right.
Say Muslim ban, I say Trump wife ban. Okay, so he has many immigrant wives. By the way, Melania has broken the law in how she came here. Muslims didn't break the law in how they came here. Muslims are law-abiding citizens and Americans just like anyone else. Trying to ban them is pure bigotry. And if the Republican Party agrees with Donald Trump, and they almost always do 100% of the politicians, then call them what they are. You are bigots. And by the way, if you vote with them, you're
a liar.
Bigots.
You're a liar.
Okay, no, you're a bigot.
You're a liar.
You're a bigot.
You're a liar.
You see this?
It's getting heated in there, Jack.
Well,
somebody might throw a walker soon.
Yeah, they're calling him a liar. Oh my god, it's horrible. How dare you?
After he just calls them all bigots.
Yeah,
because he starts out, if you're Republican or if you're Donald Trump, then you're a bigot. And if you support them, then you're a bigot too.
Oh, you're a liar. Oh, spoken like a bigot.
That's what a bigot would say. I'm counter-striking. It's fucking pussy.
You counter-strike.
You're a liar.
You cannot tolerate bigotry in this country. Muslims are 100% American.
Don't degrade my president or his wife.
Well, okay? For you, I will, and when I get
do not do that.
His ass.
Do not do that.
For the record, he just said he was going to kick the president's ass. That's a threat, by the way.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You're still a liar.
You will get the crowd and ask questions after we go.
All right. The rest of this, it's not really worth playing through. But nobody does anything. Eventually, the sheriffs are called in as everybody's still seated. And they're called in to end all this because those people in the audience are speaking out of turn.
Those sons of bitches.
That's what happened. They spoke out of turn.
They called the cops on people speaking out of turn.
Yeah, dude. They bring in the fucking
baby.
Hang on, wait. Look. All them sheriffs there. Over a bunch of geriatrics talking out of turn.
That's fucking ridiculous.
I was almost assaulted. Bipolar horse fucker, thank you so very much. Everyone is just so angry about my platform of equine love. I don't understand why this is such a throbbing issue with you bigots. I know, right? We're not. We take this stuff too seriously. Jack, if he wants to pleasure a horse, who's it really hurting?
Probably the horse that he's raping.
Probably the horse he's raping. Yeah, indeed. But anyway, yeah. So this was the big thing. This is where he almost got assaulted, Jack, as far as anybody can find. Given what he told us in the Tim Pool thing, this is the clip.
Seriously, this is it? That was all that happened?
Yep.
Wow, that's lame. Even by Cenk standards, that's fucking weak sauce.
Some octogenarians are up there like, you're a liar. Call the police. I almost got assaulted. That's Cenky Poo. So,
what a
Jack,
baby.
I'm not shocked, to be honest. I mean, it's pretty much what we expected. It's like, I almost got assaulted. How'd you almost get assaulted? An old man yelled at me. Oh, Man, if he watches this, he's going to feel like he got assaulted over and over and over again because we're much worse than what those guys said to him.
Yeah.
Wait, was there anything else I wanted to watch before we start this part of it? I can't remember. You know, you dropped that video to me, and I really would like to watch it, but it's like 13 minutes long.
Yeah, it's super long.
So maybe we'll cover that one tomorrow. Remind me, and we'll do that one because it's worth taking a look at.
I thought you'd like that one.
We've made people retarded, and there's no question about it.
Oh yeah. It's hands down like shoulder slapping retarded. Thank you, disgruntled technician, for that feminist donation. Sheriff, get in here. They're pushing back on me, insulting them and the president they support. That's pretty much the left these days in a nutshell, isn't it? Like, we can insult you, but you can't insult us because our feelings will get hurt. Babies.
Just as a primer for the video we're going to watch, hopefully tomorrow, it is the National Debating Championship for high school. And the final round, instead of them actually debating, Team A is like, we're not going to debate because I'm trans and people want to kill me. And Team B concedes the tournament, and Team A wins and is congratulated on their bravery. This is the National High School Debating Championship. And these idiots are like, I'm not going to debate because I'm trans. I'm a dude with long hair, so I'm a girl now, and I'm not going to debate. And the other's like, oh, I don't want to offend that thing. Okay. And the adults cheered. I'm almost angry enough to just watch the fucking thing.
I forgot I was muted. Yeah, now to be fair, Monkey, there was a woman with really short hair who identified as a boy. The other
Tomato,
team conceded
tomato.
because they knew they'd get crucified.
Tomato.
But thank you, disgruntled technician, for that feminist donation. I read that, right?
I think so.
Okay.
We did have a story come out, which is worth a read. This is from the Free Press. Let me bring up the story itself. We're just going to take a quick look. Speaking of the transgender thing, I didn't mean to have a nice little segue there, but it worked out that way. Look, share. There we go. Gender affirming care is dangerous. I know because I helped pioneer it. This is from Dr. Ritakru. I can't fucking say that. It's from this chick, this old lady here. She used to do psychiatric work with kids in Finland. And they decided when all this gender retardation started back in about 2011 that the hospital she worked for, where she was the head of the psychiatric department for children, hey, we got to get in on this because it's showing that these kids, they get a lot of help from, mutilating them and drugging them. And she says she had some reservations, Jack. And I don't know if that's true, if she really did. We don't have the actual transcripts of anything, but if we take her word for it, that she had some reservations about it and went and talked to the bioethics department. And they were like, nah, this is a good idea. So they went ahead and did it. And before all of this, and this comes from the Dutch study, which is what pretty much kicked all of this off on a medical basis, where the Dutch had this, they started, hey, maybe we need to help these people when they're younger so that when they become an adult, they can look more female, and specifically female because like 99% of the patients were male. And it was a very controlled study. I still disagree with what they did to these kids. But a weird thing happened, and some we've noticed with the whole transgender thing overall, is that where it started with like 99% boys, once this shit goes mainstream, it's like 80% girls. And 80% girls who had no dysphoria or signs of dysphoria until their late teens. And according to her, most of the stories that she's heard, all of it is, My friend told me my kid probably has gender dysphoria, or the kid went to like TikTok and went, oh my God, I have gender dysphoria. Although they don't say it that way. I'm trans. And yeah, attention seekers, Tyler. Exactly. It's not even attention seekers. No, that's not fair. What it is people with deep psychological problems. And she points this out, that these patients who are coming in who I got the dysphoria. Most of them have like severe psychological problems that gender dysphoria has nothing to do with. And they're telling these people, hey, you take all these drugs and become a boy and all your problems are gone, except for you're never addressing the real problem. It's like putting a Band-Aid on your elbow for a broken knee. Maybe you have a little cut on your elbow, but it's not going to fix your fucking knee.
You don't know.
I do, because I'm not stupid.
Oh, well, in that case, never mind.
But I threw the article into chat if you guys want to read it, and it's a good read, and it's a scary look at how this stuff has been perpetuated and was almost just the speed of it, Jack. That's what really got me, because these hospital administrators, because of this one Dutch study, everybody's like, we should all start giving these drugs to kids, with no real studies done to prove that it was a good idea.
Studies.
And it was done honestly to help, say, a boy who's in their study. It had to be a child who had said they were a girl since they were very little. And what they were trying to do is help them so that when they became an adult, they looked more feminine when they go into their transition. And the way they did that was by giving them hormones to make them, to block their puberty and stuff, so that they look more female when they decide to become female. That's gross in and of itself. There's no medical reason to do that at that point. For the record, there are manly looking women out there. Just throwing that out there. There's women who look like men who actually were born with vaginas. So some dude who's going to grow up to look like an ugly woman because he does have more masculine features by nature, well, welcome to the fucking real world. I realize we're indulging your fucking insanity, but here's the real world. They were destroying these children's puberty so that they could look a little more girlish when they turn 20.
Look, the price of looking like a girl is brittle bones. It's just...
it's insanity, man. It's just fucking insanity. And then they take that and then they apply it to anybody who comes in and says, hey, I'm trans, and just push all these drugs and this horrible shit onto children, Mengele style, because, hey, we think it might work. Let's experiment on children. That's a good idea. Isn't there some rules about experimenting on children?
You would think so, but nobody enforces rules for government officials anymore. Those are just guidelines. So yeah, that happened. Before we get into the debate thing, was there anything that you wanted to share? Whoops, sorry, I had to laugh. Kelly Cadigan, she put up a post today of a picture of herself and a picture of Buck Angel, and it says, "Oh yeah, sure, Buck is the female here." Like, yeah, Buck is the female there. Yeah, because you were born with a wang. Buck was born with a vagina. Yeah, there's a vagina. There was a footballer, as the Europeans would say. We call them soccer players. Gerard Pique. Have you heard of him? No. He used to be married to Shakira. He had a little whoopsie today when he went to talk to a fan. And I actually feel bad for him, even though he used to plow Shakira and ruined her body. This might be a good video to warm up to what we're about to watch. Okay, JB, thank you. Can children even be trans? Should they? In your opinion, not sure if you can answer this one. It's a tricky question. It's easy to answer. No. Here's the truth about trans, okay? Even adults can't be trans. We are indulging delusion at that point.
There is something mentally wrong with you if you feel like you were born in the wrong body. It's impossible to be born in the wrong body. You are born into your body. I mean, it's just how it works. And unless you actually believe in something like the female brain versus the male brain, that somehow men with a man-sized brain actually have a female brain for reasons that nobody can explain other than we said so, then no. And if you're an adult and you're dressing like a woman or dressing like a man and want to be called sir, I don't really give a shit most of the time. But we are indulging delusion. It'd be like asking, hey, can somebody really be Batman? No.
Batman can be Batman.
Batman is a fictional character.
What?
I'm just saying.
No, Billy Dinosaur T-Rex Batman said that he's Batman.
What we're doing and all that, it is indulging delusion, and that is not something that, especially psychiatrically, you should not be doing. That's not a fix. Anyway, before we get to your video there, Jack, we did have that a judge temporarily blocked the feds from cutting down the razor wire there in Texas, so that's a good thing.
Yes, that's very good.
It's just it's temporary for now, so we'll see. We also have I guess it's a trial, what we call it, the trial down there in Colorado to remove Trump from the ballot, which will probably pass. I have a feeling that this judge is going to say, yes, he can, yes, he can be removed, at which point you're going to have the feds get involved because this is just a state court matter at the moment.
Yeah.
I have a feeling this one's going to be fast-tracked to the Supreme Court. So we'll see what happens there. All right, you said you had this video to prime us up for the retardation we're going to watch.
Yes.
Such a wonderful day. All right. Let's see. Sorry, producing here, guys. There we go. What's his name? Gerard Pique?
Yep. Digging it. There you go.
Falls through.
Just watch.
I'm reading what it says on the screen.
Well, don't read what it says. Just watch.
It says he falls through a hole trying to sign a shirt.
I told you not to read it. You're ruining the surprise.
It's on the screen.
That doesn't mean you read it. Whoop.
That didn't look like he fell through a hole. It looked like he walked off the stage.
It's like he walked into a portal to another dimension.
He takes a step off the stage right there. Dumbass. Okay.
This is why you should always pay attention to what you're doing.
He's on his damn phone while he's doing this, right? He's fucking with something right there.
I think it is his phone.
He even looks down a little bit right before he steps.
Well, obviously not where he was stepping. He's probably looking at his wiener or something. But he goes to sign this fan's shirt and then just whoop.
Right here, his head is up, and then it tilts down. Maybe he was looking at the shirt. It didn't tilt down that far, but all right.
Yeah, he was probably looking down to sign it, but then it just kind of vanishes off our screen. And that's kind of how I feel when we're watching this, that I have fallen into another dimension.
If you're walking on a stage, you need to be very careful of where the edges are. That drop comes quick.
Mm-hmm.
Who is he? Apparently he used to plow Shakira. Is that who you said?
Yeah, he was a soccer. He's a soccer player, like a big, widely known soccer player. I don't fucking know, but he's Shakira's ex-husband. That's how you should all know him.
Yeah, he just disappears. All right, on to the main event. Back to these two retards. Oh, you know what? I was checking Twitter. I told people if there was a timestamp you wanted us specifically to look at, to let us know, and then I forgot to check and see if anybody gave a timestamp. Tons of people are like, I don't want to watch anymore, and that's fine. I'll see you on the next episode. But as far as this one, did anybody give us a timestamp? I want to look before we jump in, Jack, because there will come a point where it's just like, you know what? We're just going to jump around. We're going to pick random points in the video to jump to see if we can figure out what idiotic things they're saying at that time.
Oh, are we gonna jump up and jump down? Jump around?
Now, just jump up. We're not jumping back down.
Oh no, Gerard already did that for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we left off at 54.45. JB says he wants us to go to 69.420.
I feel like that's a joke.
No, Frosted. No.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anybody that had specific ones. Cool. So we'll just do this. The monkey method. We'll watch a little bit because we were on the part where he's trying to describe to us how you can't be a moderate, what he says, a conservative Democrat or a liberal Republican anymore. And he's explaining why that's a thing.
So when I say
conservative Democrats,
yeah.
It's like everyone's talking about Manchin. He can't win.
Yeah. So Manchin's not a moderate. Manchin is a corporatist through and through.
Oh, agree.
More of that. And Joe Manchin out there in West Virginia.
Yeah.
He's running for the Senate. Did he officially dump the Democratic Party? I know he thought about it. I don't remember if he did.
I don't know. I don't pay that close of attention to him.
But they've kind of the left made him and Cinema their Voldemorts on their side. You got to get him because they weren't just giving Joe Biden whatever he wanted.
Yeah, like traitors.
Yeah, they're still not good people, but they still had to get elected in their states. And Manchin's at the point right now where they're probably right that he can't win because he's offended Democrats enough where they're like, all right, fuck this guy. We'll bring in somebody we don't know who will do the same stupid shit. And the Republicans are like, we're still going to run a Republican. So I don't know how he'd even run there. So, but yeah, corporatist equals someone I don't like. You're right, Frosted. That I told you last night, this is their new boogeyman. Everything's a corporatist. It's not that any of these politicians are bad or that their parties are bad. No. The corporations got involved. Really? When did that start? Because this shit goes back to the founding of the country with parties.
Isn't this just a secret dog whistle to say it's the Jews?
It could be, absolutely.
Because who runs the corporation?
Yeah, they the secret hand of all big entities, right?
That's kind of the dog whistle, isn't it?
It's either that or, pro-commie. Maybe both, because, they weren't exactly pro-Jewish out there in commie land either.
Yeah, Stalin killed a lot of Jews.
It was an accident, man. They just forgot how to farm for a while.
Yeah, they put themselves on those railroads to Siberia. They just wanted to go see the sights.
I'm not a fan of a lot of them, but they keep the economy moving. Look, I'm not saying corporations never do anything wrong or that they don't influence government at all, but the notion that they are the evil behind everything is absolutely asinine.
Agreed.
Okay, so
he's going to lose.
So
Timmy says he's going to lose. I want to keep track of that because Tim's not real good in his predictions on politics. I have to remember that he said that Manchin's going to lose. That might mean Manchin wins, Jack.
Yeah.
I think he's already out.
Whereas I was...
What was that? I'm sorry.
Watch it be a landslide for Manchin.
He said right there, maybe I think he's already out or whatever. I don't know if he... Again, I haven't been paying attention to Manchin, so I don't know.
Slight center-right growing up with almost the same positions. I'm now considered massively left in Washington. Okay.
Here's where we broke off yesterday. So what he's talking about, he's asked about the line graph. It's basically the Overton window. It's been shared by a lot of people, but most famously, Elon Musk tweeted it out, and it shows that he's always been in the same spot, but the approved narrative has moved so far left that he's become a far righty.
Yeah.
So, and Cenk here's like, that's bullshit. And he's explaining, you see, I have never really changed.
Why? Because they all became corporatists. I mean, Biden was known as the senator from MBNA, which was a credit card company back then. That was his nickname.
Yeah.
Like even the people.
No, his nickname was Crazy Uncle Joe.
the Senate, they're like, oh, it's so funny. Even among us sellouts, Joe Biden's the biggest sellout. Let's call him the senator from MBNA, right? So we lost it. This is chapter 5 of my book. I'm not trying to plug the book.
He's only mentioned it like 19 times. He's not trying to plug it.
Not plugging it at all.
I don't know.
I'm just, it's a natural thing that's coming up, and I want to go back to policy, etc. But
there it is again. We'll get to that. So much of this conversation is we'll get to that.
They'll get to it in another stream, apparently.
Chapter 4, I explain how we lost the Democratic Party. So the chapter 3 is Republicans suck. Why Republicans suck?
Of course.
Okay, and that explains how the Republican Party went from the party of Lincoln to, in my opinion, the party of hate. Okay, so
we watched the video of them hating on you, dummy. You were asked about specific instances of violence, and you came back with, I almost got it assaulted, and we see it, and it's a geriatric little crowd that you brought in, almost as many sheriffs as there were people in the crowd to stop them from talking,
from telling you not to insult their candidate of choice. But Southern
party
strategy. Exactly.
My Southern strategy. They never pay attention to the fact the Southern strategy didn't work, and actually 2 Democrats split the South that year. Don't pay attention.
Hate fact.
Completely, and they changed completely because of the Southern strategy. But
he did say it. He did say it. Oh my God.
Of course he said it. They can't not say it. That's their whole basis for the Republicans are racist. Is they trot out the Southern strategy and David Duke. That's their entire argument.
Yeah, their argument is that the Southern strategy was the Republicans trying to court all of the racists in the South, see? And what actually happened is there were 2 Democrats who were running, and they ended up splitting the South. I think each of them takes like 4 or 5 states down there each. The Republicans don't win shit. But the Southern strategy, they said it. KKK, y'all did it. All right.
You mean that group that was founded by the Democrats?
Yeah. And the last member of the Congress that we know was a member of the KKK was a Democrat.
That's true. But most of the Klansmen that were in office were Democrats.
Joe Biden called that man a friend, a mentor, and a teacher.
Yeah. Well, that says a lot about his love of Israel. He hates them. By the way, Evolved Potato says he sent you a timestamp.
What was the timestamp? Just tell me.
I don't know. He said he wants to know why you're not using his timestamp.
If it was the one that said to jump all the way to the last second, like 3 people made that joke and I just ignored it.
Oh.
That was the only timestamp I saw. Somebody said to jump to 2 hours, 41 minutes, and 9 seconds.
But for the Democrats, they think, oh, you're so right about that, Cenk. But I'm like, you think your party didn't change? We used to be the party of FDR, and now we're the party of credit card companies.
Wealthy, yeah. Vox, right? This was 2016. Vox called them, Democrats have become the new party of the wealthy elites.
Well, they've always been the party of wealthy elites. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Kennedys were loaded.
Yes, they were. All that rum running paid off.
None of them have been like, maybe Carter, but none of the others are like, salt of the earth kind of guys.
No.
The political parties, you guys are going to find this very weird. They've always been the rich and the elite. It's a tradition we pass down from the British.
What?
You don't generally have somebody who becomes, no matter how much Joe Biden talks about the coal mines and driving trucks that he never did, they've never been that party. They like to talk about it occasionally, sure. But how the fuck are you going to say they're not the party of FDR when all they're doing is moving more and more and more and more socialist all the time? Because they won't give you paid family leave, which, by the way, they have given you. He wants specific maternity leave. They won't give us 12 weeks. Did FDR suggest that? I'm pretty sure he didn't.
He
I'm
was
pretty
busy
sure.
printing money that we didn't have.
I'm pretty sure almost everything FDR argued for we have, and that the Democrats have just taken and pushed further and further and further. And you can't sit there and go, they're not the party of the guy who did all this stuff, because they're doing things that he wouldn't have done or didn't do. That's asinine.
I find it interesting how much he's celebrating FDR, but my Japanese sister-in-law seems to dislike FDR for some reason. Something about a camp.
Well, we don't talk about those, man. We only talk about German camps.
Oh, you mean the ones Woodrow Wilson put in place to lock up the German immigrants that were here?
No.
World War One,
the 1940s Germany.
Oh, the Germans that were held by FDR.
No.
Oh,
Well,
not those either.
we're not supposed to talk about that.
What?
FDR was a hero.
Oh yeah, Hero Works projects that delayed the bounce back from the Depression by 8 more years.
Kept the Depression going for I don't want to say any. Most economists will tell you what happened during the recovery of the Great Depression caused it to keep going on.
Huh. FDR, the man who seized gold from people, so that the government could have it.
Now he did that because rich people had too much stuff. He loves FDR, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure why FDR was a piece of shit.
I love that. If you want to, convince me as a Democrat, right? Instead of we're the party of FDR, what about the party of Jefferson? Because the party of Lincoln, that goes back a decade or almost more than a century now. One and a half centuries. But they're like, 50 years ago or 70 years ago now, I guess. How about Jefferson? I mean, they call it the party of Lincoln because he was the first Republican president. You know who the first Democrat president was? Jefferson.
Well, let's see. Interracial relationship, out of wedlock births, slavery. Yeah, that tracks.
What about the party of Madison? What about any other fucking Democrat that came before this asshole who comes in pushing communist bullshit? How about that? No, man. We're the party of the communists, and they're just not commieing hard enough. Fuck you. By the way, when communists get into power, you know who's in power? The rich and the elite.
What?
It's
Stalin
almost like,
was a pauper.
Yes, he was. He lived very poor.
Yes, he had a humble existence.
Yeah, and it breaks my heart. But there's a lot of truth to that. But that's not the left.
There's no truth.
That's corporate Democrats in Washington. Okay.
Yeah, I subscribe to Jacobin magazine. Jacobin has been very strong on defending free speech, and so when
Cenk is not a defender of free speech. I don't know where this just came from. That's a weird segue.
Fell out of his beanie.
I was going to redo the thumbnail for this and put a picture of Jimmy and Timmy with these two idiots' faces on it, but I couldn't find a good picture of Jimmy and Timmy.
Oh yeah, that could be a challenge. I'm pretty sure. I'm more and more convinced that I know what is underneath Tim Pool's hat.
Lice?
No, he doesn't have any hair for that. All right, here's a brief installment of Mr. Jack Solves It. You know what is really under Tim Beanie's hat? I'm going to pull up a picture of what is actually hiding underneath there. Because Tim Pool is, in fact, a vessel for something else entirely.
I would imagine there's a giant vagina under there.
Well, a lot of people have speculated it's a giant penis. But...
Or an ass. Because, he does have shit for brains.
Oh, that there is that as well. But no, I was thinking, I hate to do this to you, but can I share an image real quick?
Yeah.
In fact, underneath him is, got it up there?
I got it up there.
Krang. That's right. The Utan warlord is hiding under Tim's beanie. That is really what's going on.
I hear you, but I have to disagree on that because Krang was smarter,
Krang got beat by 4 turtles.
which is awesome.
Well, they're awesome, but he's always an idiot.
Tim would get beat up by 4 little girls.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with that, but are they ninja girls? I think it could be Krang's semi-retarded little brother.
I'm still going with the theory that it's an ass because of his shit for brains. All right,
That would explain how he talks shit so much.
it really would. There's a lot of fecal matter up that way.
Yeah. Sorry about
When
that
I started
side
seeing the articles, they were
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just apologizing for that random side tangent. Of
Oh, you don't have to apologize. for
what's
that.
under Tim's beanie?
posting, and
Papa says I'm going with the top of a fence pole. Well played.
of course, I know a ton of people who have been consistently very left economically. And I started seeing the articles and I started reading Jacobin articles. I'm like, this is the kind of left that I want to have an argument with, one that understands the importance of free speech. And I can respect that. And I also think it's important to hear what they have to say when they're making their arguments.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm
You totally agree. You had the sheriffs called because some old people yelled at you.
Well, moderately talked loud. They weren't even really yelling.
You're right. They just raised their voices a little bit. I totally agree. Suddenly, Cenk is free speech. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear it, Cenk.
My grandfather yelled at me louder than that when I'd get candy out of the candy dish.
My grandfather yelled at me louder than that just in normal talking because he was deaf.
Yeah.
a massive I'm very much in favor of freedom of speech. So then we
Bullshit.
talked about censorship earlier. So then the question is again, where do you draw the lines? The world is not black and white.
Well,
right?
so this is a point I did want to make on that. You
Criminality.
said, the right saying, oh no, our precious Nazis or whatever. But it's not so much our precious Nazis. It's especially right now with Israel, Palestine, the people who are going to bear the brunt of that legislation is the pro-Palestine left.
100% agree.
So
So-
Ron DeSantis
And now suddenly free speech is an issue.
Oh, it only matters when it's their speech.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch blowing up right now. They're still so mad that some of these people might not get jobs because they think Jews deserve to die.
Yeah, job offers rescinded and stuff like that. Been seeing the reporting. The Intercept had an article, which we should probably cover tomorrow.
They are limiting our speech. Nobody's limiting your speech. You were out there cheering terrorists, you fucking asshole.
They have said probably 1,000 times that speech has consequences.
Oh, yeah.
And now when there's a consequence for their speech, that now it's censorship. Go fuck yourself.
How many times have those of us on the free speech side warned these assholes that this would happen?
Oh, thousands.
It's coming for you. It's coming for you. No, we're always the good guys. Yeah, except for when you're, well, actually, they're rarely the good guys. They just think they are.
Mm-hmm.
But again, not to play that card, a lot of the lawyers in the United States are Jewish. You are going to law school and you think it's a good job to come out and say you think those people deserve to die because they're Jews? And then you're like, why won't you hire me? Common sense?
Yeah, the desire not to have a potential security risk at your firm, much less a lawsuit.
banned. This is a there's a bit of debate right now among Republicans. Vivek Ramaswamy is very critical of Ron DeSantis, saying this the student group should be banned and forced to reform because in their school toolkit they say they are Hamas. They are not. They are Palestinians in exile who are a part of the resistance that is. I don't know how they explicitly define it. They say
you had it right the first time. They say they are Hamas. What they say is that they are not supporters of them. They are them. That's how they said it, Tim. It wasn't that long of a fucking statement. You can't remember that. I have an addled brain, Jack, from the drugs I take, and I can remember that shit.
I know, right? Oh, real quick. Thank you, Tim's fence pole. Help me. He sits on me so hard that his low that his low intestines are straight. Gross.
This is what drives me nuts about this guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He has a very vague idea of it, and he's going to talk about it as though he knows something. How many times have you guys heard me say, I did it earlier in the show, I don't know much about that, I can't speak to it. It's not that hard to say I don't know,
Well,
instead of pretending you know a fucking thing.
we admit that we only can go off of what we know of a topic. Tim is a foreign policy expert. Foreign policy expert, Tim Pool.
And a domestic policy expert as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a given, isn't it? I mean, he lives in the U.S., ergo, he is an expert. That's his problem. He assumes that he knows everything there is to know by reading a handful of things at best, probably skimming, let's be honest.
At least let's finish. Let's see what the hell they have to say here. It just irritates me. He does this shit all the time.
There are resistance fighters who attacked. We are part of that resistance. And so Ron's argument is
No, we're not just part of the resistance. We're not supporters. We are them.
that means they are declaring support for a terrorist organization. Therefore, we have to disband this group. Vivek said
they actually said that they are part of a terrorist group. Therefore, we have to disband it because that is Florida fucking law. It's also U.S. law not to have terrorist organizations.
Their declaration there honestly should have gotten them put on a terror watch list because they just admitted that they're part of a terrorist organization.
Yes.
Oh, it's a bunch of kids in a college saying stupid things. Let them say stupid things.
I agree with that.
Just
But
like
this
the
is
Weather
what-
Underground.
Of course you do. I agree with that. Look, Vivek, I didn't see his comment on this. He's just wrong if that's what he says. These people came out and said they are part of Hamas, a terrorist group, and they did so in support of them killing Jews the other day. That's why they did it. It's not like they just did it out of the goodness of their heart on a random Saturday. They did it because of October 7th.
I'm a little tired of people dismissing college students because they're college students.
Me too.
The Weather Underground was college students. The Symbionese Liberation Army were mostly college students. And let's not forget all the people doing the struggle sessions for Mao were college students.
If you tell me, in college somebody experimented with gay sex, all right, that's they're being college kids. They smoked a little dope. Oh, those are college kids. They're part of a terrorist organization. Wait a second, we need to talk about that one.
Yeah, that they're admitting to joining a terror group. What's that about red flags again?
But hey, they deserve their free speech. They deserve to be able to come out and say, these are people who've been whining about the terrorists on January 6th for what, 2 fucking years, almost 3 years now?
Mm-hmm.
Those terrorists, because they chanted stuff. But these people coming out and declaring being part of an international terrorist organization, well, hey, look, they're just college kids. They're just college kids.
Oh, real quick. Thank you, Tim Pool's lower intestine. Well, at least something about Timmy is straight. Bring on the fence posts. But please, no more wooden poles. Those splinters are a bitch.
Now,
Thank
Timmy
you.
gets plenty of straight sex. Just ask his former co-host.
Oh.
Anyhow.
What happens when you go after free speech?
Yeah. So then let's talk about where the line should be, because
Please.
the
line?
everybody could look up these videos. The Young Turks have been around 21 years. We're the longest.
Before he goes into this, if he's about to tell us he's always been on the side of free speech, I need them to explain January 6th.
Oh, I thought he was going to talk about how often he drops the N-bomb.
No, that is a funny video, though.
Yeah, it is.
Internet show in history. As far as a daily show, we've been around longer than literally any other show in internet history.
When you guys started, there were no social media platforms. You were using weird web players and stuff like old school.
Yeah. We use web players on our own website. We try to get out the word
I'm
through
sure there's a
Yahoo
point
Messenger,
here
through AOL. We were AOL bloggers. We put up videos on MySpace. So we are as old school gets.
You
And
didn't mention ICQ. You ain't that old, bitch. And you're Yahoo. That's not bona fides, man. That makes you a kind of a punk. Just saying.
Said AOL.
I had a Geospace. We were video.
so having
Weird
been around so
humble bragging.
long, you have all these videos that show indisputably your consistency, right? So I was against Don Imus being fired. I didn't think Rush Limbaugh should be censored, or Glenn Beck, or when I was outraged when Megyn Kelly was fired. I'm like, okay, so she said this thing about blackface. Okay, it's wrong, and I can explain why it's
not
wrong.
wrong.
But if you fire her, nobody's even going to find out why it's wrong.
She didn't say. She asked.
She asked. That's
She just
right.
was
She didn't even
ignorant of
say
it.
it. That's
Yeah.
right.
She was ignorant. Fuck you, Tim. She was ignorant on it. No, she was asking because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that if you are dressed up as a black character, that it'll be considered blackface to wear darker makeup to make yourself actually look like the fucking character.
Yeah, she was sending homages.
Oh my God.
Also,
It wasn't an homage to Al Jolson, for fuck's sake.
oh, that was actual blackface. That was a minstrel show. But what Megan was saying was, if you're a big fan of somebody and you put on makeup to look more like them, that's not blackface. It's not the same thing. There's a specific definition of what blackface is.
You know what he didn't mention here? Because he
Alex
mentions
Jones?
he didn't know. Well, not that either. Yeah,
Oh.
he mentioned Don Imus, Rush Limbaugh, and what was the other one? Megyn Kelly. He doesn't mention Donald Trump getting censored. He doesn't mention Alex Jones being censored, which again is one of the few things I really like about Jimmy Dore. At least when it comes to free speech, he's honest. This is a man he spit on. He's like, no, that guy should be allowed to talk. This is a guy he spit on.
Yeah.
You know how much I'd have to hate you to spit on you?
Oh my God, I know. There's people that I hate that I wouldn't spit on.
Yeah, because it's
poor form.
It is so insulting to spit on somebody. Anyway, look how smug that little fucker is after it. She's just ignorant. Not like me. I'm the intelligent. You fucking piece of shit.
It's ignorant.
Right, yeah. Don't be ignorant.
So if like Al Roker was upset, then guys, why don't you take the opportunity to bring in Al Roker and Megyn Kelly and have an hour-long conversation and
Have a struggle session.
Yeah. Until she complies. Then she has to apologize to Ice Cube. Oh, real quick. Thank you, Disgruntled Technician, for that feminist donation. I'm as old school as it gets. I'm only 31, and I remember when all the platforms he listed off became a thing. That ain't that old. Yeah. He said 20 years. I think that's a rounded up figure. But I'm pretty sure that, yeah, that's not that old. I'm with you, man. That seems a bit ridiculous.
And look, there's nothing impressive about longevity. It just means you kept doing it.
Yeah, look, I knew a dude that worked at a factory, and I've bitched about this guy a couple times. He got paid $24 an hour to literally press a button every 30 seconds.
Yep.
Because he was a union guy, and he was demanding more money with the union because, the union was about to strike, and he was like, yeah, we're going to get more money. I'm like, you don't do anything. You should be making minimum wage. You should be making less than anybody that works at McDonald's. Yeah, that just because you were there for 20 years doesn't make you, because he worked that job for, I think, 24 years. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything, dude.
Hey, it does. Did you see how impressed Tim was when he said MySpace?
Oh, my God, yeah. Well, they played a lot of Skater Boy music on there, on MySpace.
Boy. All right, ready to go?
I suppose.
We got more of this to go, so...
So that'd be the highest rated show you did that year, right? And then people would learn what's wrong with blackface. Instead, you fire her, you never have that conversation, and a whole bunch of white people who've never understood the history of blackface go, what the hell, man? I don't get it.
Exactly.
Oh, Pot. I gotta introduce you to the kettle, homie. You don't get the history of blackface. Explain the history of blackface to me, sir. Is it a child wearing a Halloween costume? Because I'm fairly certain that's not the history of blackface. Granted, Jack, I only actually know the history. So maybe I'm biased in my assessment here.
You monster.
Maybe the reason blackface was insulting is because there were little kids walking around dressed as T'Challa on Halloween asking for candy. And they're like, oh, look, he's pretending to be a Negro begging or something stupid like that. But I'm almost positive that's not what happened.
I doubt it. You know, I doubt there were even any little kids dressed up like Al Jolson wearing blackface.
Yeah. The history of blackface is literally the minstrel shows.
Yeah.
And unless somebody's doing that, then it is not what you guys are calling blackface. You just labeled any makeup as fucking blackface if it darkens the skin even one iota, one notch on the Crayola wheel.
Now, the only exception to that is Justin Trudeau, because I want to make fun of him.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're a Democrat, you can get away with blackface.
That's true. That's true. Or a communist.
So I was Michael Jackson in 1983 in Halloween. Well, I didn't do it because I was racist. I'm not evil, right? And that's because they don't know the history of blackface and how white people would put it on and then lynch black people, etc. But you can't blame them.
Hold on. I don't think anybody lynched a black person while wearing blackface. I'm calling bullshit on that right now. I am 99% sure that never happened. Nobody was. I guarantee you, nobody was like smearing on the makeup, going, "I'm gonna go murder the Negroes." Nobody did that. Nobody was dressed up as Cornelius from Planet of the Apes, out going on a hunting spree. It doesn't happen. Shut up, fat ass.
Weren't they more known for having, a big white hood on their head?
Yes, usually they seem to be wearing more of the freshly bleached sheets.
Blackface comes from minstrel shows, you fucking retard.
Oh my god, he is so fucking dumb. I swear, you're trying to either give me a heart attack or lower my IQ to a sub-basement level.
Bubba says the casual hanging after a minstrel show. Yeah.
Mammy, get the rope, mammy.
Jesus Christ.
I walk 1,000,000 miles for 6 inches of rope, mammy.
Well, hey, look, this is the same guy who told us he was almost violently assaulted by that geriatric crew. So maybe Al Jolson's bullshit, that was a lynching.
To him, yeah. He hears Camptown races and immediately has a desire to go buy a cord of rope. Oh my God, shut up.
Just as an aside, you mentioned Camptown races. One of my favorite movies, Blazing Saddles. A lot of reactors have started doing reactions to it. And it's kind of funny because most of the reactors I watch are black. And there's some serious racism in that movie. For the record, partially written by 2 black guys, one of which being Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
My favorite joke in that whole thing gets missed by almost everybody. So they're working on the chain gang there, busting rocks and stuff. And the guy's like, "Hey, where's those Negro spirituals, And they're like, "Oh, we don't know what you mean." And he starts singing, and he actually sings like a really nice song. He goes, No, like Camptown races. And he starts singing it. And all the black guys, they're like, "Yeah, we don't know that." And then they decide they have to send the guys up to look for the quicksand. And the 2 guys jump on the little rickshaw. Is that what it's called? The
rickshaw, yeah.
Rickshaw. They jump on that, and as they start taking off, they start singing Camptown races. It is my favorite joke in the whole fucking movie. And everybody misses it.
Yeah. It's because most people don't realize that was a minstrel show song. I dropped a link to the Al Jolson version of that. It's from a movie, but they used to do it on the minstrel circuit and in vaudeville. So those of you that didn't know about that, there you go. You can.
Frosted, thanks so much. Said you asked and I delivered. Check your DMs.
Oh no.
Uh-oh. What do we? Yeah, I could have done this one and might have, except that I got to blow it up to make it into a decent thumbnail. This is what he'd done for us. That's from the Cripple Fight episode.
Yeah.
That is Jimmy and Timmy fighting. Well done, sir. Well done indeed.
A little fun factoid for those of you that did ever listen to the commentary tracks on your DVDs. That Cripple Fight mirrors almost exactly the fight Roddy Piper had with oh shit, the guy's name escapes me now, from They Live.
They Live, yeah. And that's why it goes on so long, because that fight in that movie went on for fucking ever.
Yeah, which is why it's a fucking classic. That movie is awesome.
I like They Lived. I've seen it, or They Live 3 or 4 times, but I haven't seen it since really close to when it came out.
Oh, dude, it's a great movie. Keith David, thank you guys.
Roddy Piper. You know, I did not realize he died until the other day. Well, maybe a couple months ago now. I was talking to my son and we were discussing Always Sunny in Philadelphia because we're both big fans of that show. And it's like, how come they never brought the Maniac back? And he goes, he died. I'm like, what? Rowdy Piper died? What the fuck? I was upset.
Yeah, I actually thought he was a pretty good actor. Very underrated. And I really liked him in Hell Comes to Frogtown. That's one of my personal favorites. But They Live, he actually was a decent actor in that. I thought, yeah, it's a B movie, but it's a fun B movie.
All right, enough fun stuff. Let's get back to these retards.
Oh, damn.
They don't know, right?
Yeah.
So my point is, and Ben Shapiro, Ann Coulter, Charlie Kirk going on college campuses, every time I defended them. Okay, so I believe in free speech completely. Now, having said that, nothing's complete, as you pointed out.
I believe in it completely. Nothing's complete.
According to Joe Biden, your rights aren't 100% either. So.
Is that the fastest he's contradicted himself in this?
I think it is, because
I
it
think that
was
might-
literally within the same sentence.
Out earlier, there's always some form of censorship. So where do I draw the line?
Where?
I draw the line at verifiable but extreme hate speech. Okay, so
We're part of a terrorist organization that believes Jews should die, should be genocided from Israel. That's not close enough to that line for you, Cenk?
It depends
Hang on.
on how you define hate speech too, because that's a nebulous fucking term.
I just got to hear this.
some form of censorship. So where do I draw the line? I draw the line at verifiable but extreme hate speech. Okay.
All right. Were you about to say something there, Jack? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, disgruntled technician. White sheets in a Democrat ballot. Sorry, joke is delayed. My internet's worse than monkeys.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. That can't go wrong with the white sheets when you're. The Democrat ballot was just there to take notes on their behavior, probably, or maybe it's stuff in the ballot boxes.
I wonder if he's going to give us examples of this extreme but verifiable hate speech.
Now we'll get back to that later. We can talk about that.
We can talk about it in a little bit.
Is that like
Fuck,
misgendering or something?
It's almost as bad as we'll circle back to it. All right.
Okay. So hate speech isn't, I don't like it, the current right-wing government of Israel. No, that's a policy position.
Right.
Okay.
That's not what their position is. It's from the river to the sea. Do you understand what that is? It's the river and the sea that are on the side of Israel.
Now, Monkey, I have to correct you here, because Hamas is a governing body that is a policy position.
True. That is true. You're right. But when we're talking about the because remember, we're talking about those students who signed on to this.
Yeah, but they said they're part of Hamas, so we have to take them at their word, because some of them identify as boys and girls and whatnot. So if we have to feed into one delusion, why not feed into all of them? So obviously they are part of Hamas, which is a political movement. Therefore, they have a policy.
Okay.
So he should be he's all for it. That's why.
I'm not saying this sincerely. This is a hypothetical. If I hypothetically said that the young Turks need to be eradicated from the planet, do you think he would stand up for that? Because it's just a policy position. I just don't like the people who are running the Young Turks.
I don't think he'd stand up for you, but the Armenians might.
They might, yeah. Anna's people would be on it.
Yeah.
They haven't tasted the Turkish ween like she has.
The people of her old nose.
Okay.
Well played.
And hate speech isn't, I think black people committed more crime in this country than white people. Now,
That's not, I think. That is a verifiable fact, sir.
Look, your FBI statistics. Blah, blah, blah. You CDC facts.
I could break down why I think the context of that is wrong, right? But that's not hate speech. You're trying to have a policy discussion, and maybe you're having it in the wrong direction, but I wouldn't call that anywhere near hate speech.
But what if it was, hey, because of that, we need to get rid of black people? Would you at least then be like, hey, maybe that's a little closer? These people are not up there going, hey, yeah, Netanyahu, he implemented this policy where they're changing the Supreme Court, and that's what we're upset about. No. It's just that Jews exist there, fucker.
Yeah.
And that they want to kill them all, you dumb son of a bitch.
Well,
No,
let's face it, he's probably okay with that.
No, it's just policy positions that they're upset with.
Right. So, but if you're going around saying we have to eradicate the Jews, no, that's Nazis. Sorry.
What about
Nazis and Muslims, specifically the Hamasian ones, and a few others, actually.
Oh, weird. Hamas paid for by the people that were supported and given money and got the word Iran from the Germans, because Iran translates in Farsi to Aryan.
I love how they're trying to separate these calls for the Jews of deaths. It's like, no, those are the Nazis, not just the Nazis. They're on the same team, dude. Yeah, didn't the Palestinians, as we call them, work with the Nazis?
Look, your hate thoughts have no place here, you bigot.
Oh, that's some of that history he doesn't know.
Yeah, you monster. Thank you, Frosted Glass. I will die on this hill. If you believe hate speech is a thing, you are not pro free speech. That's like saying I'm not a pedo, but that 6-year-old is hot. Yeah, look, I would say if you think hate speech is a real thing, then you're probably more potato than JF Garapi's ladies.
Yeah, hate speech isn't a thing. It's made up. But if he's going to define it, I love how he's splitting hairs here about what real hate speech is.
Yeah, that's who I want making those decisions.
All right, Jack, we're officially an hour into this 2-hour, 41-minute clip. We're going to just jump ahead to a random spot.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm going to make it your choice. You give me a number between 1 and 60.
I'm not going to be responsible for this travesty of
Give me a number between 1 and 60.
First, let me do this. This is a good time to remind everybody we're brought to you by you. If you're enjoying this show, please hit the like button, share this on your social media, subscribe if you haven't, and if you're so inclined, you can toss us a couple bucks at the Streamlabs link. Go through the chat, pinned at the top of the YouTube chat, and in the description of both feeds. And as always, make sure that you're subscribed and you've rung that bell for notifications if that's a thing. And if you hate the show, send the link to somebody you hate because they'll probably like it.
All right, I need a number.
I'm going to go with 45. Good call, Pirate Bob.
45. We're an hour and 45 minutes in now. Let's see what they're talking about now. It looks heated.
Because they were dismissed before, but now they have to bring it in court. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see it. If the argument is you're upset with the procedure, like Texas v. Pennsylvania, I agree. We should have that argument over procedure. But this idea that I keep hearing this one where they say they pulled votes out from under the table and started counting, and I was like, and if you watch the full surveillance video, you can watch them put the votes there too.
Yeah,
you can
actually just votes.
You can watch the votes come in, get placed in the box, put under the table. At the end of the day, they then pull them out and start counting them.
I've seen this argument before. I actually saw Destiny talking about this just today. What they never mention with that is that they don't bring those votes back out and start counting them until after they sent people home.
Hate fact.
They never bring up that part of it. It's like, no, that was put. Well, of course somebody put it there beforehand, fucker. It's not like anybody thought they used a fucking teleporter to get it under the table.
Nope. I can tell you how they got there. Harry Potter imported them there. He used his super wizard magic to do that. He
used a port key.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking retarded people.
See,
they do all the time. All the time. That is their argument. Hey, they put it under the table. No shit. Now let's talk about when they pulled it back out. They never bring that part up.
There is a video of a woman running the votes twice. There's a question of whether or not were the votes rejected from the machine, so she had to run them twice, or was she trying to count votes twice? And if that's the case, how is it possible to run the same vote more than once? They should be serialized or something. But those are things I think are worth having a conversation about.
But so first of all, I'm not getting into any of that nonsense about the votes. But in terms of Texas, Pennsylvania, look, guys, there's challenges that come in any election, and it's very normal. And sometimes the Supreme Court takes the challenge, sometimes they don't. And sometimes they rule in an outrageous way, as they did in Bush v. Gore. By the way, the Supreme Court has ruled in many outrageous ways. They've ruled it in Citizens United.
He's about to piss me off, isn't he?
Yes, I think he's really committing to the bit here.
All right, let's hear it.
Is he going to say that the Amistad was rigged?
That corporations are human beings and have even more rights than human beings, that they are endowed by their creator with unalienable rights. What creator? We're their goddamn creators.
Well, corporations are people, my friend.
Yeah, and
what they ruled is they have that corporations have free speech rights, and you can't take them away. That you can't say because you're a corporation, you can't say that.
No, they were ruled to be people. They
They were
get full
people?
people rights.
They're inalienable rights. I'll bet you $1 he never read Citizens United.
I would be it'd be pointless to take that back because you're correct.
that corporations have freedom of speech. No, that's called a bribe. Okay, that's what it's called. And guys,
again, they made a video that was critical of Hillary Clinton, and they were like, "How dare you? You can't make critical video. You're a corporation." Citizens United is the genesis of the modern hatred of corporations. It really is. That's where it all started. How dare you? It's a corporation. And it's all because they made fun of Democrats.
Yeah, a lot of them still give Democrats piles of money. It's weird how that happens.
You're a right winger, super frustrated with the establishment. You're not wrong. The establishment keeps telling you you're wrong and you're crazy. You're not wrong. But there is a crazy line, right? So in terms of the establishment, they frame everything as if the status quo is great, that corporate rule is awesome, and that you should get nothing, and that the rich and powerful should get everything. And
I watch a lot of politics. I've never heard anybody say that out loud. I've never even heard anybody suggest that out loud.
No, I can't.
I've heard shills out there saying that's what people are saying, but I've never heard them actually say it.
Man, I'm gonna buy stock in straw man factories, dude.
The notion that rich people should get to keep their money the same way as I should get to keep my money is not them saying the rich and powerful should get everything and I shouldn't. It's that we shouldn't have. Nobody should have their stuff taken away. Cenk.
Oh, they should pay their nebulous fair share, monkey. They should pay until I say it's enough.
And mainstream media is one giant corporate propaganda outlet. Okay.
That part's true.
And so I can show you all the ways that they've screwed over the left wing. I can show you a lot of ways they screw over the right wing. Okay. So if you're frustrated about that, and mainstream media.
All right. I am sincere here. I want to talk to Cenk about that point. I want to know all the ways that the mainstream media has screwed over the Democrats.
Fox News.
The only times they say anything bad about Democrats these days, or the left in general, is when their hand is forced. Remember all the Boston Children's Hospital bullshit? The media came out like, Libs of TikTok is trying to get trans people killed and this hospital burned down. There was a bomb scare. Who called in the bomb scare? Oh, well, they kind of, somebody called the reception desk and we don't remember who took the call, but yeah, there was a bomb scare. That made national headlines, and there's no evidence behind it whatsoever. It wasn't called into any official thing. And they repeated it all because Boston Children's Hospital started lying about when they were cutting off the titties and genitals of children.
Yep.
It's all already out there. Their stuff is saved on the internet. You have a doctor bragging about the fact that he would do it on children as low as 12 and had done it on children as low as 14. We're talking bottom surgery here. And then it gets pointed out. Libs at TikTok is like, look what these guys are doing. And suddenly it was like, oh, they just hate gay people. Look how they're lying. They would never do this to anyone under 18. Look, their website says so now.
Yeah. And then they'll do the why do these people hate children nonsense too.
Yep.
In the same breath.
Ever has the press not been on the left side? Even in that case where they're completely called out and completely found to be full of shit, they stayed with the fucking lie. They covered for Joe Biden during the 2020 election, didn't bring up any of the bullshit this man has done his entire fucking career. All of that went out like he was a brand new person on the planet.
And they covered for his so-called stutter and mental decline like he was fucking FDR in the wheelchair.
They did. Yeah, they were his blanket over his legs, man.
Yep.
Fuck right off.
Figures keep yelling at you. You know, no, you're imagining it, man. These politicians are wonderful, and those aren't bribes. Those are just people talking with one another, and you guys are all radicals.
Like
no,
Burisma.
that's crap, and that's why nobody.
What was that?
Like Burisma.
Like Burisma, yeah. Again, when it comes to lobbying, there is a legal way to do it, where it's like, this guy agrees with us, we're going to give him money so he can get elected. That is not the same as this guy disagrees with us, we're going to give him a bunch of money so he now agrees with us. This is the problem that comes up with money in politics. We got to get money out of politics. Look, he took a bunch of money from the NRA. You mean the guy who's been hunting his whole life? Weird.
Believes mainstream media anymore.
But
when you jump the shark and you come up with conspiracy theories that aren't even remotely true, guys, all you're doing is hurting your cause.
I completely agree. And then
conspiracy theories like Obama literally telling the press what to talk about.
Shh. Let it happen.
It's a real thing, guys.
Look, just go with Hunter Biden's laptop was totally Russian planned, dude.
Russian propaganda, yeah.
Who won't vote because they think it's pointless when they're voting. But I think here's where the big challenge comes. Because I think I said this on the show when you announced you were running. If it was between Mitt Romney and Joe Biden, I'm voting Cenk Uygur. And it's because I'm willing to believe that.
Didn't he say that to us like on the first episode we watched? How many times are you going to suck up to this fat piece of shit?
All the times, dude. He's not clout chasing.
And why Mitt Romney? He's not even one of the people that's running.
Is it
if
Romney
it's between
retiring?
Romney and Joe Biden and you, I'm voting for you. How about Trump Biden or him, or even DeSantis Biden and him? Take a stand there. He was fully on the Trump train at the end of 2020.
Well, that got him a lot of money, so of course he was.
But now he won't even mention his name in front of Cenk. How would you vote in that election, Timmy? I fucking hate this prick.
You're the more likely candidate to pardon Julian Assange. You're the more likely candidate not to bring us into psychotic foreign wars. And
psychotic foreign wars.
Not just foreign wars.
Mentally ill ones. They really like their adjectives on this show. Keldrick, thank you. Cenk is the last person who should be talking about dealing in ridiculous conspiracy theories. Of course. Yeah, you're right.
I can't speak for anything else, but I'm not voting for the war machine. And so the challenge comes here. Here's why I voted for Trump in 2020. I did not vote for Trump in 2016. What did we get?
Was Trump part of a war machine? I don't know if he would count. Trump does seem pretty anti-war, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he didn't get us involved in any, so that's good.
And he had he gets us out of Iraq, didn't he? And then or was Iraq the end of Obama's term? I don't remember. And he does have the plans to get us out of Afghanistan, and not the way Joe Biden did it, but actually safely.
Yeah.
I'm just checking Tim's consistency here.
Yeah, he brokered the Abraham Accords, so that was good.
Afghan withdrawal timeline. Okay, well,
if he voted for Hillary, though, that does throw it all out the window, because one of Hillary's talking points was she was going to bomb Syria. Well, actually, she was going to institute a no-fly zone, which would have necessarily put us in direct opposition to the Russians.
Yep.
So he didn't vote for who'd you vote for in 2016, dude? Anybody know who Timmy voted for in 2016? I voted for my wife. She didn't start any wars or plan to.
Well, that's true.
And so the challenge comes here's why I voted for Trump in 2020. I did not vote for Trump in 2016. What did we get? Afghan withdrawal timeline. Okay, well, I'll take a grain of sand over a bushel of wheat if I can get something. Getting our troops out of Syria. Why were they in Syria in the first place? I can't believe it. Donald Trump openly admitting to America's foreign policy, boastfully saying, we're going to sell all these weapons to Saudi Arabia, make a whole bunch of money. The bombing in Yemen, all of these horrifying things. And I'm like, if I can get 1% out of Donald Trump in that he's going to focus more on whatever's going on in this country, and it means we're not blowing up kids in foreign countries, it's the best candidate I've laid before me in terms of who can actually win and do something.
So it's okay to sell the weapons that are going to do it as long as he doesn't do it himself. All right.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, he specifically mentioned Saudi Arabia and Yemen there, which, yeah, Saudis were bombing the shit out of the Yemenis. Yemenians. Huh.
And then I saw a bunch of people on the left, prominent people say, you have to vote for Joe Biden. And I'm like, but he's going to Hillary Clinton this. We're going to see war. We're going to see, look at Libya. I saw he died. It's been chaos and a disaster. We're going to see American troops dying. We're going to see conflict and chaos. And they said Trump would bring about World War III. And then we didn't get it. We got no new wars. And we actually got withdrawal timelines. I'm not saying he did great. I'm not saying he did perfect, but he did better than anyone I'd seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Abraham Accords, I thought, were fantastic. He crossed the DMZ into North Korea with no security detail. And I'm just like, holy wow. I'll take it, please.
Just see Cenk's face while he's saying all this. Whoever's operating the camera, your face, it should be on Cenk right now, because I bet there's steam coming out of his ears.
Yeah.
Whatever
Tim said he didn't vote for anybody in 2016. Fair enough. All right.
Biden has to offer, it's going to be crony BS. It's going to be warmongering. It's going to be neoliberal, neoconservative war. Just give me whatever I can get. And now I see a lot of these leftists who were like, nope, we have to vote for Joe Biden. It's the only path forward. And I was like, oh, spare me, dude. I will take a bowl with no direction, smashing everything over the neolibs, over the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Why? All right, Jack, this is a serious question. Would you take chaos over bad order?
Well, I'm thinking. I don't know. Kind of depends.
I don't know that I could be as certain as he is on that one. Because chaos, you're literally saying this goes back to me to the old anybody but Bush, which is the first time I really heard that.
Yeah.
Where you're like, anything is better than this. Like, that's not necessarily true.
No.
You could end up with what you have, what you think is going to happen, plus 100 times worse, because you're voting on, well, these guys kind of suck. And this guy, I don't know what the fuck he's going to do, but it's got to be better than that. That is a horrible way to make decisions.
Oh, it's an absolute disaster. But at the same time, could be really funny.
Yeah, so let me tell you why you're right about my positions, and obviously why I would be better, and I'm running against them. But then I'm going to tell you someone who could easily win that it isn't me.
Is it Bernie?
Okay, he's going to tell about in a little bit. We can get to that.
While.
It's it's a Republican. Okay. So
Wait,
first off,
okay, he's going to tell us which Republican could get his vote, Jack.
Oh yeah, it's a Krispy Kreme.
Well, we're going to guess. Which one do you think it'll be?
Oh, let's see. This is a few days old. Nikki Haley.
I'm leaning towards Haley, but given the kind of bullshit that he's been saying, I'm actually going to guess Ramaswamy.
I would have gone with Mike Pence, but we're a little too close to him dropping out. So,
on my positions, would I pardon Julian Assange? Of course. That's not even a close question. He should have never been hounded in the first place. So
Trump's the reason Julian's in a worse position.
yeah. And so that's exactly right. Trump is so full of crap. It bothers me so much that people who are legitimately angry about what mainstream media has done, what corporate politicians have done, are gravitating over towards another con man. Okay. So Donald Trump.
You mean like the kind who would tell us that he was almost assaulted by a geriatric group of people sitting in a seat talking loud? No, not that guy. Not that guy. Not that guy. My bad. I'm going to keep bringing that up because I cannot believe that was it. I honestly hope, just to restore a little bit of faith in humanity, that there is a different video out there of that of what he described, rather than it being a group of really old people talking loud.
I suspect what we saw was the entirety of it.
Why on God's green earth wouldn't you pardon Julian Assange? Not only is Julian Assange never did anything wrong, he's as much of a whistleblower as anyone has ever been.
Arguably helped Trump.
Yeah, and then on top of that, he arguably helped Trump. Okay, in fact,
okay, one, just to get this out of the way, I think Assange shouldn't need a pardon. All charges should just be fucking dropped against the man.
Yeah, just drop the charges with prejudice. That's it.
But just because somebody helped you doesn't mean they didn't break the law somewhere. I mean, Sam Bankman-Fried shouldn't be let go because he gave a bunch of money to Democrats. Did you see in court today, apparently, in his answer was almost universally, I don't remember.
Over 100 times I read.
Oh, what a fucking douchebag.
In fact, I thought he got too political, and I started to get mad at Julian Assange. But that never changed my opinion that he should be freed immediately.
Well, wait. Talk about why you got mad at Assange. Talk about why. Oh, he got a little political. No, sir. You got mad at Assange because he's the one who broke the story about how the DNC was fucking Hillary or fucking over Bernie. How we find out for sure about the Donna Brazil giving the questions to Hillary before the DNC debate. Mm-hmm. It's where we get all of the drops from the DNC. That's why you hate it. If it had been the Republicans, you'd be like, oh man, he's the greatest thing ever. But he's not politically biased, and he's not one of those corporate Democrats, Jack.
No, he's legit.
Real quick, I'll tell you why. And this is speculative based on meetings that had happened, but the general idea is Donald Trump had his people make Julian the offer. You give us your sources on this information and you're free to go. And Julian said, never. And they said, if we don't give it to us, we'll take it by force. Mm-hmm. And that's what's resulted in his arrest and extradition attempts.
And that's from some people that told him some stuff that heard it from somebody's grandpa that was at the thing that happened with him. Yeah. Look, I don't know what happened with Assange and Trump. My guess would be that Trump didn't really have much to do with anything about that. What really probably happened is he brings in the usual suspects when you pick who's going to be, leading the Justice Department. And those kind of people are the kind of people who are like, yeah, we got to get him because what he said was mean. I don't think that there was any secret dealings. Maybe there was. I have no more knowledge of that than Timmy does.
Well, that won't stop Timmy though.
But what tends to happen is that you get this is one of Trump's biggest blunders, probably his biggest blunder, is that he didn't go in there with his own people in mind to run things. He let the Republicans give him names. And so that's who he put up, and that's we end up with Sessions and then with Barr. And these are two guys who are they're DC people. This is what they've done their whole lives. Of course, they're going to still go after Assange.
And Tim, even if that story is true and it's your speculation, but I'm okay with it. But even if that story is true, doesn't make it any better. It makes it worse.
I know. I agree.
Yeah.
He should have been pardoned outright.
Yeah.
I mean, he should never have been charged.
So I would bring back Snowden immediately. Like Snowden and Assange are American heroes. They're whistleblowers. Although
Snowden's a little bit different in that he actually did steal state secrets and release them. Assange is a reporter. Assange is no more guilty of a crime than New York Times when they, post Donald Trump's tax returns. Whoever gave them to him or to the New York Times is a criminal. They aren't. Snowden, whether you agree with what he did or not, he did break the law. That's the difference between him and Assange.
Assange is not American.
Well, I agree with Snowden. Come back, no charges. But there is a distinction between Snowden and Assange. Assange is a journalist.
Oh, yeah, Timmy got it.
We can get into that, but it's not important.
God damn it,
the point
he just
is
did it
that
again. He just did it again. It's important to the point you're making. We can get into that. Get into it. It's important to make that distinction. You just brought up bringing Snowden back as though it's the same thing as pardoning Assange, you fucking fat shit.
Well, we could get into that some other time when you've forgotten about this.
Dustin says, oh, I thought Snowden was just a whistleblower. He was, but in order to blow that whistle, he had to steal secrets. The stuff that he exposed it needed exposed. But sometimes when you do the right thing, you are still breaking the law. And you need to be, a part of that needs to be like, you know what? It's worth the consequence. And maybe you get lucky and somebody's like, you know what? We see what you did there. We understand why you did it, and we'll go light on you. And other times it's like, yeah, you broke the law, you pay the consequence.
Thank you, Keldrick. Somehow I have trouble believing Cenk when he says all this. I have a lot of problems believing anything Cenk says. So I'm with you on that.
He revealed information about American wrongdoing, the government's wrongdoing, and that is a classic whistleblower. And they tried different paths to get it out.
Not if you're
otherwise. And Assange is a journalist, period. Right. So, okay, so that one's easy. Getting us into wars, of all the candidates, there's no question that I'm the one that is most likely to avoid war, because I don't want any piece of it. After defense contractors, all they do is rob us. They get our sons and daughters killed. They kill tons of innocent civilians. And it's not about the killing. It's about the robbery. The whole point is to execute the robbery. Right? So now Biden comes out with Israel's attack. Terrible.
Look, the killing's bad. The killing's bad. But that robbery thing.
That's worse.
The only way we rob people is through taxes so they can pay for shit that they're not using for other people.
And redistribution. Because
we got to make sure that that guy over there with all that money is paying for that chick's birth control.
Yeah, they got to pay their fair share, monkey.
How they got attacked. We're going to.
Foreign Native says, oh, so okay with war if it's cheap? It kind of sounds that way, right?
Yeah. As long as nobody gets hurt.
If it's dollar store war, he's all right with it.
Get back
into
that issue in a minute.
Store employees fight each other. Not gonna lie.
I wouldn't. It'd take forever. There's always one in the store, and they have to do everything. They can barely get people checked out.
Sometimes they have two.
Sometimes.
But then he's like, "Give me $105 billion for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan,
and the border." Don't forget. But
wait,
that's because he's going for the Republicans on that one.
Yeah, $105 billion. Wait a minute. Look, I'm on the side of Ukraine, but we just authorized like 8 different multi-billion-dollar packages to Ukraine, and Israel. We already give them more money than we give anyone else, and now, unfortunately, they've become the aggressors. Taiwan.
What?
Israel has become the aggressors.
Those party goers were asking for it. Did you see what they were wearing?
Just like the French and the British became the aggressors in World War II. I mean, technically, there is a switch where the Germans are defending Germany and everybody's moving in on them.
Just like the Armenians were the aggressors.
Yes. What a douchebag.
There's no war in Taiwan, right? So, no, this $105 billion is going to go straight into the pockets of the defense contractors.
True. Yep.
And then they're going to take out a small percentage and give it as bribes. I mean, campaign contributions to Joe Biden, Nikki Haley, Almost every corporate Republican and almost every corporate Democrat. Okay. And those guys, in order for the criminals to make more money and to rob us even more, they'll start more wars. So there's no way in the world that I would do that.
You see Nikki.
Did he just agree that the Ukrainian-Russian war was started by, somebody other than the Russians? Because he just said they'll start more wars.
Shut up. Ukrainians are holy, right? Is that the right answer? I don't even fucking know anymore.
American defense contractors started the war in Israel?
Yes, they were the ones out there attacking through paragliding and going on a murder and rape spree at a arts festival.
A peace festival.
Rave. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a peace festival. Thank you so much, Frost, who says, look out, Muhammad, they're coming right for us.
Pretty much.
Haley skyrocketing. The media is praising her. Her polls are up.
Of course.
And she's on stage saying more war, more war, more war.
Yeah, Nikki Haley is the most classic corporate neocon Republican you'll ever see. I have a Republican neighbor while walking down the street. We run into each other. I say, hey, how's it going? And he's like, yeah, I saw the debates. And he's still making up his mind whether he's going to vote for Trump. And he's in LA, right? And he's holding down the fort. But I said, how about the others? He's like, yeah, they're trying to get us to vote for Nikki Haley. Not going to happen.
She's awful.
Not going to happen. So
I bet if he had Nikki Haley in the studio, he would just suck up to her the whole time.
Of course he would.
He is such a little bitch. They're not wrong about Nikki Haley, though. She is being pushed really hard right now.
Oh, yeah. She's been on Fox News all the time. My parents watch Fox a lot, and my dad's like, I fucking hate this woman.
The reason she's being pushed so much is because they tried pushing Christie and they realized nobody's voting for what looks like a potato and a donut had sex.
And mainstream media can't see straight because they're in their bubble. And in their bubble, people that are corporate stooges like Marco Rubio and Hillary Clinton and Nikki Haley and Joe Biden are God's gift to humanity. They're like, who wouldn't love Marco Rubio? He has pleasured every donor there is. He is an upstanding Republican. Everybody who's going to vote for Marco Rubio. Then nobody voted for Marco Rubio. That's the one thing Trump and I agreed on.
This is why I like Matt Gaetz. I mean, disagree with him on policy, totally fine. But he gets grassroots contributions. He rejects the PAC money, and he's told these stories about all of these people get into Congress and they're enjoying the parties. The big military contractors they got the private jets, they got the luxury vehicles, they got the $100,000 party in Vegas, and this is what our members of Congress get to enjoy when you bend the knee to the war machine.
So, I have very nuanced opinions about Matt Gaetz.
I bet you do. Again, this is another one of those times. Whoever's doing the producing for this show is doing it wrong. Tim starts talking about how much he likes Matt Gaetz. You need to switch immediately over to a camera pointed directly at this fat fuck.
So first, cenkforamerica.com. Okay. So, or if it's easier to remember,
if you have $1 to give to cenkforamerica.com, me and Jack have just as much chance of being elected as he does, and we're entertaining.
Yeah.
You could throw a tip our way instead and not waste your money.
And neither of us want to have sex with animals.
No.
So your pets are safe around us. So that's even more reason to give us money.
Biden is going to lose.com. Okay. So if you agree that Biden's going to lose, sending $1 is
this worries me because Cenk isn't real good at predicting either. This might mean Biden wins.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying.
I'm sure it'll be totally fortified.
I agree with the polls and everything right now that Biden has no chance. We're still more than a year out, but this is like the kiss of death.
Did you see that photo op that he had at the White House today?
No.
Jill had to tell him that they were taking a picture because he was about to wander off from some kids in Halloween costumes.
I mean, he was just following the scent.
Yeah, he was like, I already sniffed these. Time to get some fresh ones.
protests, and I'm a proxy candidate for every other candidate to get in this race already. If you don't want the Joe Biden to lose and the Democrats to lose, which is almost certainly going to happen. Okay, now for Matt Gaetz. So Matt stopped taking corporate PAC money, and it made a giant difference. So for the Democrats, it didn't make any difference at all. They look at Matt Gaetz and they see the devil, right? And so on his radical right-wing positions and his conspiracy theories, I got no interest in it, and I'll fight him all the way on that stuff. But the minute he started taking corporate PAC money, at least he started becoming honest. Which
when he stopped taking it.
Yeah, when he stopped taking it. He and all I care is about honesty. You could be as right-wing as you want. That's called democracy, okay?
Yeah,
and
I agree.
So
I agree with that notion too. I just don't believe that Cenk actually believes it.
No, he'd be like, you could believe that in your prison cell.
He introduced anti-corruption bills, and then Ro Khanna and AOC agree with him.
Yeah, and and I loved when he said, "I'll give you concessions on the motion to vacate if you adopt Ro Khanna's reforms."
I went on air and I said that's a great idea.
Oh, we got to do it.
Okay,
people want that stuff.
Yeah. So, and so you remember how I mentioned I come bearing revolution in the beginning. This is what I'm talking about. A revolution where we're not talking about left and right as much anymore. Now we did a lot in this, and I'm sure we have to by definition because it's a lot of times left versus right. I get it.
It's literally your shtick. Has he never watched the Young Turks?
I don't think so. No.
All right.
I'm not trying to erase the language, etc. But while we're fighting on things we actually care about, and you saw how much I disagree on certain things, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to give any ground on that. And nobody has to give ground on the right or the left on those issues, right? But can we also, at the same time, agree on things where we do a revolution against the establishment? Okay. So
I love that he's just trying to paint himself as this anti-establishment dude when he's just been nothing but an establishment shill his entire 20-year career, going all the way back to MySpace.
Thank you, Frosted Glass. This is weird. I checked ChenkForAmerica.com, but it just redirects to the homepage for the Kentucky Derby. Look at all these beautiful stallions.
It's got Cenk's hands doing the heart thing.
I'm actually looking at his website right now. And dear God, I'm pretty sure a 10-year-old threw this together. I could make a better website than this. This is terrible.
I just love that he's talking. I mean, while he did criticize Hillary in 2016, they were all on board. Do you remember how happy they were she was going to win?
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, oh, well, at least Trump's going to lose and Hillary's going to win. And she's a corporate person, but I will take that. No, it was full on. She's our gal. Woke up this morning. My daughters were happy because they were going to have a female president.
It's her turn.
It's her turn. They were all on board with that shit. And now he's like, I've always been, kind of moderate. Fuck you, you fat lying piece of shit.
Oh, and the
more I think about it, Chris Christie does make the most sense as the person he'd vote for.
Yeah. Did he ever say? Because I don't.
No.
It's been a while.
He hasn't said yet.
best place to start is anti-corruption. So, and I explain this in the book, as much as I, go after Republicans and I say mean things about them. Okay. But I also explain there's a difference between conservative politicians or Republican politicians and Republican voters. And Republican politicians are 99% corrupt, and the Democrats are about 90% corrupt.
Sorry, I got to take some Motrin. My back is killing me.
You got a little bit of Bob Menendez caught your throat there. Bill Barnes just showed up.
Look, guys, he's not. He just believes in honesty. Honesty is 90 to 99%. Fuck you. For the record, just because some politicians won't take corporate money doesn't mean they're not still on the same side as that fucking corporation. It just means they're saying really stupid shit to you to get you to vote for them for reasons that don't matter. I'm just saying. Jack, you and I don't take corporate money.
No, we don't.
I would if YouTube would give us that 20 million.
Yeah, but Cenk took corporate money.
You and I have never taken corporate money. I mean, I did when I worked for Walmart, but I meant as a tip or donation to the show.
Yeah.
So we are much better than Cenk here because he takes corporate money. He took Al Jazeera money.
Yeah.
He took YouTube money. He's a corporatist. But hey, he's one of the good guys. All right, I'm jumping ahead again. We're just going to go to 210. Let's see what happens there.
Okay.
So it's like, why are we sending money to a country that's already wealthy? It's not like they need the charity. Like, hey, you know what? There's a terrible drought in Botswana. We send money. Okay, we're humanitarian. We're the good guys. God bless. But it's not like Israel needs that. They're already incredibly wealthy. They're not the wealthiest country at all, but they're in the upper
wealthy.
quarter, upper.
It's all the Jews. Just say it, Cenk. Just do it for me. Just tell me about how the Jews are hoarding the money over there. They got their Jew gold around their neck. The reason we give them money and the reason they are as prosperous as they are is because we pay for their defense, basically.
Yeah.
Should we be doing that? That's an argument to have. I can see both the pros and cons of that, but stop pretending like the money we're giving them is just like we're putting some sprinkles on their rich cake over there.
We're building vaults for their money vaults.
percent, etc. So we don't. What's the point?
Here's the simple yet complex answer, and there's the conspiracy answer. But the simple, complex one is, simply put, the U.S. wants to go to war with Iran, and we need as many strategic locations as possible in the Middle East.
Wrong. It's in case we go to. There's a difference there. It's in case. We learned during World War II that having to quickly mobilize different places around the world to put our strength is a pain in the ass. So after World War II, we established a lot of bases around the world so that we can easily get into places and not have to start from scratch. Take me like one of your French girls, Monk. Well, thank you so much, Thank you so much, corporate money. I appreciate it. Well played.
Least. So of course we're going to be with Israel being as powerful as they are. Why do we want to go to war with Iran? Has a lot to do with oil and energy, which is why we surrounded Iran with Afghanistan and Iraq. Look at a map. We invaded two countries to surround Iran. John Bolton said under Trump, we will be celebrating in Tehran in next year. He didn't get that. And then you look at the Qatar-Turkey pipeline. The U.S. and Western interests wanted a pipeline from Qatar through Turkey and Syria into Europe to compete with Russia. A lot about energy and economic expansion. And so this results in massive conflict in the Middle East, where we say we want control of Iran.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah, Monkey.
Can you name the time in history where there wasn't massive conflict in the Middle East?
No, because I don't think that time existed ever.
Okay.
Hey, you know what else they have in the Middle East that's not oil? Sand. That's it. That's all they fucking got.
I was going to say terrorists, but
oh yeah, they got that too.
Child brides, a backward ass religion that tells them it's okay to kill people who don't believe like them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff over there. But when it comes to the Middle East, I mean, it's been a very violent fucking place as long as we know of. Now, you could say maybe the United States has taken advantage of that, but to sit there and, hey, we did all that to cause this strife, either you're historically retarded or you're just lying. He tries to make it sound like a nuanced argument and then doesn't even get the fucking nuance of it. Hey, Timmy, back when Reagan was president and the Iran and Iraq war kickoff with us backing the Iraqis and Russia backing Iran, was that because of that pipeline, the Turkish pipeline?
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
There's a strong reason for the U.S. in that capacity to defend and fund and secure Israel. And then my favorite, which has just popped up more recently, is the more conspiratorial answer. And it's that Jewish people and Christians believe the Holy War is coming and they want to make it happen so that the Messiah returns.
No, that would be the 12ers in Iran who have publicly stated that in order to advance things so the 12th Imam can come back is to speed up things because they want to bring about the end of the world so that they can fulfill the final days of the Muslim prophecies.
Well, I saw on Twitter today a whole bunch of people saying that Christians and Jews are saying this, but I haven't actually seen, and I'm not saying it hasn't happened. Maybe there's a few. Maybe it's like the Starbucks cup where one guy complained about it. But I haven't seen all of these evangelicals who are like, it's going to bring back the Christ. One, there's no reason for them to force that because, especially for the Christians, Jack, because they believe when they die, they go to heaven anyway. They don't have to wait for the return of the Messiah to get up there.
Yeah.
You can just let it happen.
Yeah.
But it's another one of those things where I've seen a whole bunch of people talking about it, specifically because of, what's our new speaker's name? Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
Him being a warmongering shitbag, which he is. They're like, but he believes that he was put here by Jesus and therefore he wants to bring about the return of Jesus. I didn't see him say that.
I haven't either.
Lots of people said he did.
It would be wrong to say that Christians think that this is going to work because they haven't rebuilt the Temple of Solomon yet.
Yeah, you got to do that first.
Yeah, you have to rebuild the temple. There are signs and portents that will come about that none of the seals and vials have been activated yet. Just calm down, people. They're working on it, but it hasn't happened yet. The temple's a big part of that.
And I kid you, I know it's very religious, but there were a lot of people tweeting this out.
Oh, yeah.
A video of politicians in Congress, both Democrat and Republican, saying we will defend this blessed land and things like this.
Yeah. Let me go one by one.
Well, they say that because there is a belief that, that is that's the Holy Land, you dumb fuck. And them saying we'll defend this blessed land is not. That's not saying Jesus is coming back if the Jews and Muslims fight it out.
Yeah, that's fucking dumb. Also, you're only looking at Twitter. Have you gone to any churches to hear this? Where they're like, the end times are upon us. You know what? When the rapture happens, I'll get right on buying into that, Timmy.
Timmy can't go to church because it's disrespectful to wear a hat inside of one.
I don't think he would care. I don't think he understands decorum and respect.
Unless
also,
you're the Pope.
He would get in trouble for skateboarding in there.
He's a cool skateboarding dude.
He is. He is hip with the kids.
So first of all, Jewish people don't want Armageddon or any of that stuff. You have to leave them out of that equation completely. In fact, in that cuckoo.
And that is true. What Timmy said there with Christians and Jews wanting that, it wouldn't be beneficial to the Jews. It's a Christian thing. The Jews don't believe that the Messiah is going to come back because they don't believe the Messiah has been here yet.
What? They don't abide by the book of Revelation written by a follower of Jesus?
Except for the Jews for Jesus.
They're Christians then, aren't they?
They are, but they still call themselves Jews for Jesus.
That's not how that works.
Cocoa Puffs scenario that the evangelical Christians believe, almost all the Jews die. So there's no way the Jews are...
No, all the Jews die. They get to inhabit this hell of an earth for, 10,000 years, and then they all go to hell. It's not almost all the Jews. You have to convert. It's not like Jesus is going to be like, hey, that guy doesn't believe me, but grab him. I like his hair. I like that hat and the way his hair is around it. Give me that Jew over there.
Favor of that. The Israel's not in favor of that. But does Netanyahu use our religious nuts in this country for his own benefit? Yes. Did Ariel Sharon? Yes. Okay. And
does Mahmoud Abbas? Yes. Never mention the Muslims who do that.
What? Like college students that are really dumb?
And asked, Sharon would say, of course I don't agree with them, but if the schmucks are going to send me money, I'm not going to disagree. Racist. Okay.
Did you hear what he just did?
Yep.
He just used Yiddish while talking about a Jew.
And he did talk about money as well.
He did.
Oh.
Those rich guys over there with their funky language. He's a little racist.
Yeah, little.
Fair play.
I take their money. So the evangelical Christians, yes, it's not all Christians, it's not all right wing, it's not all white people. All let me give those standard but important caveats. But there is a percentage of the country that thinks, hey, the end times require Israel to exist, for the Al-Aqsa Mosque to be destroyed, for Israel to control the West Bank and Gaza, and then praise Jesus, he returns and murders everyone.
They already control the West Bank in Gaza as part of the problems that they're arguing about over there.
Yeah, also that's not part of the prophecy. They just mention Israel. They
Yeah.
don't mention specific neighborhoods of Israel. Fucking idiot.
Oh, God. And again, like you said, we still got to get the temple built.
Yeah. Also, Jesus isn't coming to murder them. They'll be dead by then because of the various wars and the Antichrist, and the rapture. But it's his understanding of Christianity and Judaism is Wikipedia at best, from what I can tell.
Thank you, Keldrick, who says, I mean, we Christians do look forward to the second coming of Christ. His command wasn't for us to usher it in with a holy war. It was to prepare people for the inevitability happening by spread of the good word, speech, not jihad. Yes. And look, I'm not saying there's not some people like that, but I mean, you've had lunatics who believe that if you wore black Nikes and killed yourself, you'd go up to live on a spaceship hiding behind Jupiter. No, it was hiding behind
It was on a comet, thank you.
Oh, that's right. Who were the ones that believed that there was one hiding behind Pluto?
Well, the comet was going to take you there.
Is that what it was?
They were going to get beamed up to a comet.
Yeah,
that was Heaven's Gate. Yeah.
There's that one group that this evangelical preacher. He had a very small church, but it made major headlines because he predicted the end of the world, and then it came, and he's like, "No, I read the scripture wrong. It's actually a year from now." And he did this so long that people just stopped listening to him.
Yep.
He still had some people who still believed in him.
We were saved at the last minute.
You don't get to sit there and go, hey, there's some crazies out. Yes, there are some crazies out there. Is that the standard? No. That's how you bring this or broach this, okay?
Also, the dead haven't been walking the earth yet. So that's another issue.
I don't know. Have you seen San Francisco?
Yeah, the videos from out of Philly too. Okay, maybe fentanyl is the warning sign there. I'll give you that one. Fair enough. We got a couple of signs of the apocalypse.
Who is it that wrote Revelations? That was John, right?
Yeah, that was John of Patmos. We're not sure if it's the actual Apostle John or one of the other people that were hanging around that group.
Thank you, Mighty Balzac. It says Armageddon out of here is what I'll say. There you go. Paul. I'm being told it was Paul, John. I swear it was John, but either way,
there isn't a revelation of Paul, which has a talking cross in it. It's really weird. Don't read it. It's very, very weird.
The point that I was making was maybe when he's having this vision, he just assumed it was dead people walking, and it was actually just that fentanyl.
Dude, the fentanyl crawl.
Yeah. Because if you didn't know what that was and it wasn't explained to you and you just saw it, you'd be like, holy shit, there's zombies.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. Stephanie Myers-Shosh. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist donation. If I remember correctly, the prophecy of Revelation starts when the Holy Temple is rebuilt. The Holy Land will be assailed by the enemy of God's people. Kind of missing the whole temple thing. That's what I'm saying. Until the temple's rebuilt, it's not kicking off. Now that could be a metaphor for something, just like the beast with 10 heads is a representation of 10 nations, and the Whore of Babylon, that sort of thing. So we got a lot going on before that war at the plains of, or the Mound of Megiddo happens. I don't think I've seen anybody cheering on the trying to speed up the book of Revelation, because if you've ever read that, I think it's horrible.
Maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, the Seven Seals opening, he was actually just having a vision of Die Hard when they're trying to get into the safe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm just saying. Anyhow, back to these two idiots real fast. I'm sorry if I just insulted a whole bunch of Christians. I was just making a joke.
Well,
Actually,
we're
I'm not.
mocking these two retards. We're not mocking the Christians.
Yeah, if it's your sincerely held beliefs, more power to you. But just going with the notion that the fentanyl zombies, my brain went there. I'm not apologetic for it. I don't know why I'm apologizing. If you took too much offense to that, lighten up a little bit. Jesus would have laughed.
Yeah, the book of Revelation is full of so many horrible tragedies. To make light of that by saying that there's a handful of crackpots online saying they want to usher in the book, that's disingenuous and it's insulting. And it's a bit childish. It's very baby brain material.
Keldrick says, listen, I've made more sacrilegious jokes than that. So have I. But as a non-believer, it's not really sacrilegious for me to say it. You might think it would be.
Yeah, it's just to try and say that people are advocating that is so fucking dumb.
Look, man, it's either people trying to usher in the second coming of Jesus, or it's because they wanted to build a pipeline.
Yeah,
people
I don't remember
listen.
the pipeline in there.
People listen to these two idiots.
Yeah, they're millionaires.
Frosted Glass, thank you. If you break the seal, you void the warranty. It depends on what product we're talking about, but yes.
No, the seals. Take it with a pillar of salt. Jesus.
Nice, well played.
Wow, that's very, very old school. There,
that's very old school.
Yeah, but one for both the Christians and the Jews.
Indeed. Dark Resurrect, thank you so much for the feminist $12. I mean, we're also missing the writers, famine, and pestilence before we get to the war and death. So we should be, oh, wait, China and India covers those. Shit. Well played.
Yeah, we did just have a pestilence, right?
Sin Mickey, thank you. Christians are fine because if we're right, it gets real dark, just not for us. Fair. Hey, if I'm wrong, you guys get to laugh your asses off for the rest of eternity.
Yeah, I don't know. I think most evangelicals that I've talked with over the years, they really have a very high opinion of their ability to get raptured, because there's a limited number of people getting raptured in that book. And,
that's another one where you could go like maybe the population of the world at the time was so much smaller.
Yeah.
And so if in his vision he's only seeing a limited view, like he's only looking at, say, Israel, that would be a much more, because what is it, like 14,000 or something like that?
It's 144,000.
144. That would be a much more normal number for Christians in that area of the world than, say, like the United States.
Yeah, but if you're talking like, because he was making it sound like it wasn't a regional war, it was like the end all for humanity. So if your number is limited to that, then you better not have eaten any shellfish or worn any blended fabric, because you've already broken a few rules. That's moving your social credit score down a little bit on the rapture sheet.
All right, back to these two idiots.
And only the true believers are sucked up in a giant vacuum into heaven, and everyone is killed in a bloody slaughter like no one's ever seen before. And we rejoice, and we look down from heaven at all of you lying in blood.
He doesn't even have the story right.
Well, like I said, I don't think he's ever actually read it.
Your babies and grandmothers murdered all over the world, and go, yes, praise the Lord. Well, you guys are sick. That's a sick fantasy.
But that's
what happens when the Hamasians cross over into Israel.
Yeah, the problem is that it's not meant to be a happy book. A lot of people die in horrible ways. The rivers turn to blood. It's a horrible thing, and a lot of people are killed in horrific ways. It's not meant to be a happy, shiny thing.
Sin Nikki, thank you. 144,000 are the witnesses of the Jewish trees, not the rapture. All right.
Oh, my bad. Thank you.
And Rogue Thought, thank you. Really says a lot about our current leadership when we're talking about revelations. Good God. Yeah, well, you're not wrong about that either. He's laughing about dead babies. All right.
Gonna happen. You're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
But that's
by the
most
way, in that
extreme iteration of it.
scenario, Israel gets obliterated and almost
great
all
war.
the Jews die.
No,
Okay.
all the
So
he keeps saying that. He keeps saying, no, it's literally just the believers, homie.
no one in their right mind should be rooting for that. It
Nobody is.
Saddens me that a significant percentage of this country is mentally ill and believes those kind of apocalyptic revelations that no.
You think he's going to talk about the crazy shit the Hamasians believe?
No.
You know, like it's okay to rape somebody's wife in front of them if you beat them in war.
I think that he just conflated like a handful of Twitter spurgs.
You
who were
did.
probably
What-
religious zealots with like mainstream Christians.
He said a significant portion of the population. Well,
Yeah.
what's significant? All right.
No one actually said. Jesus never said it. It's totally made up by con men, American preachers who just wanted to rob you blind. The last person on earth you should trust is a preacher, and that is true of all the religions, not just Christianity. So imams coming around telling you how holy they are, and then they go, "Oh, take a suicide vest." No, you first, dick, and then and then we'll talk about it, right?
Well, let's
I'll give him a little credit there. He hit on the imams. Just a tiny bit, not much. Most people are not bold enough to do that, and Cenk at least took a shot at the Muslims, so good on him.
Yeah, I suppose, but I don't know.
I mean, it's an easy one because it's put on a suicide vest. It's not, the other tenets of their beliefs, but
Yeah, I guess.
let's
This is pathetic. He has no understanding of Christianity at all.
talk about the Republican.
So
Unless you wanted to wrap that up.
yeah, so but to wrap up Israel. Look, right now there's a slaughter going on in Gaza, and it's mass relocation. 3 times as many civilians killed in Palestine. Those civilians' lives matter too.
all right. One, the number that you're using to say how many civilians have died comes from a terrorist organization. 2, the mass relocation is so they don't kill civilians. 3, the reason that civilians keep dying is because Hamas told them do not leave. And 4, they're dying because Hamas keeps putting their bombs right next to them. And when Israel blows up the rocket sites, it happens to blow up the school that it's next to, you fat fuck.
Hate facts. Real quick. Thank you, Keldrick. Cenk believed even crazier stuff about Trump's election, I bet. Oh, you know he was firmly in Hillary's camp. He was despondent. I'm sure he had a lot of conspiracy theories.
I don't know if I ever heard any conspiracy theories. I will give this to Cenk. When it came to Hillary losing, he did say it's because of the Democrats, how they fucked it up, and she was a bad candidate. Now, does that mean he never went into any stuff? No, I don't watch all of their stuff, so maybe. But Cenk specifically, I haven't seen him do that. That sounds more like something Anna would do. This is why I actually said Cenk is one of the smarter liberals. He's not smart. I mean, that's a very fucking low bar. If you have to be in support of Marx in any way, you're probably not intelligent.
What was his stance on the P tape, do you think?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen. I don't know if I've heard him talk about the Steele dossier thing at all. Rodline, thank you. Looks like Cenk's been eating at a la snack bar. Yes. He needs to be careful.
Yeah, he shares this bag of oats with this lover.
Thank you. Thank you so much, God, who says, I don't know why you guys think I have the motivation to end the world, because in reality, I'm just out here just trying to make ends meet, work a 9-to-5 job I hate. Yeah, I get you. I feel you. Been there, my friend.
Real gross evolved. Thank you, Frosted. And I saw and beheld a pale horse, and he that sat on that horse. Wait, no, Cenk, leave it alone. Oh, that's disgusting. Stop it. Revelation 6:8.
Cenk out there trying to give the pale horse a hard on.
For its pleasure, of course.
And
I will say that the pale horse part, when Johnny Ringo says it in Tombstone at the beginning there, it's very powerful.
Yeah.
And hell came with it.
and they have to end the occupation. It is immoral. It is wrong. And America should never spend money backing an occupation. It is morally wrong, no matter who does it under what circumstances.
Oh, good
But-
thing they did that in 2005, right?
Yeah. By that measure, Cenk, you should leave the United States. Because there are people who believe that we are occupying Indian land.
Stolen land.
Yeah.
We have to give it back to the Neanderthals the Indians took it from.
Yeah.
I want Israel to be a peaceful country that we all love and cherish and visit, and to have a safe environment. Okay, but you don't get to safety through war. You get to safety through peace.
How far are we into the show? Okay. I'm wrapping up here, Jack, because I just can't anymore. I just can't. You don't get there through war. You get there through peace. Oh.
You get there through hugs and smooches.
Israel has come to the peace table repeatedly, over and over and over and over again. Here, you guys can have this, including an actual two-state solution. And every time they do, terrorists start bombing shit. Every fucking time. And there'll be people who tell you, hey, they refuse a two-state solution, which is bullshit. The only thing that the Jews objected to with the two-state solution was going back to the 1967 borders. They're like, no, we're not doing that. And before they could get to, okay, what will you do? Shit gets blown up, Jews get killed, and then you guys blame the fucking Jews for firing back. Every goddamn time. It's like clockwork. You name any kind of peace treaty that was going on between that, and there were terrorist acts.
Well, they
Every
don't want
time.
a two-state solution on the Hamas side. I mean, the Palestinian side, because they don't want the Jews to have a nation.
From the river to the sea. The river is on the east, the sea is on the west. They are talking about literally getting rid of all the Jews. Now, if you want to be nice, maybe you say they're just telling them all to go swimming. It's not really what they mean. They mean to literally kill all the Jews in Israel. You can't sit there and tell me that the Israelis are the bad guys. I'm not saying they're perfect, Jack, but I will side with them every fucking time over these terrorists who keep killing people anytime there's any chance for peace. This has been going on for decades. Not now, that region has just been a shithole forever.
Yeah.
But the Israeli-Palestinian thing has been going on since the 48 borders. Since 1948, when the Britain, they're like, you know what, you guys live here. We're fucking off. We're not doing this anymore. Ever since then, this shit's been going on. And every time the Jews try to give peace, they end up with war. And it's not because they've done anything. Excuse me. And then they, like this asshole, they're out there slaughtering people. They literally call ahead and like, hey, guys, you guys gave them shit because they told people to get out of hospitals that they were going to bomb because they think that that there are Hamas fighters there who are holding bombs and shit. They have their munitions in a hospital. Like, how dare you blow up a hospital? Well, at that point, it's not a hospital anymore. It's a military target. Get the people out. The people who are getting those folks killed are Hamas. The blood is on their hands. They started this shit. Now, I don't want to hear any fucking bitching about how poor Hamas, these Palestinians. You mean the ones who haven't rose up and thrown these assholes out of their country? Haven't got rid of the people who are making it worse? Who, by every measure that we know of, Jack, openly support them.
Hey, fact.
Fuck right off with that stupid shit. Oh my God.
Thank you, Evolved Potato. No one told Cenk about the Mr. Hands incident in Enumclaw, Washington. It'll give him terrible ideas. If you don't know what this incident is, I'll warn you that a guy died from intimate relations with a horse, where he was the taker.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the reason we had to, ban the animal stories around here is because we kept getting really bad ones. Like this one guy who killed a dog during intimate relations, and he'd only been out of jail for like 6 months from the last time he'd done it.
Fucking pervert.
There's some really sick fucking people out there. How that guy ever got out of prison's beyond me. I was doing it for their pleasure. Cenk told me to. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us tonight. That's going to wrap up our... I might watch that full thing. If I get bored one time, throw it on in the end. But seriously, I do not understand how anybody listens to either of those two idiots unironically. How do you do it and you're not just there to make fun of them? Their takes on where they're giving their opinions are asinine. It's based on facts that aren't really facts. Cenk literally just makes shit up. Tim heard something one time and kind of remembers it. So I just don't get it. I don't. That's the most I've ever watched of Tim Pool. That's not true. I used to watch his videos and I used to think the same thing. I think of Matt Jarbo and Quartering the way they do it. Like, he's just reading an article. That's boring as shit. But people tuned in, man, because he had the beanie. I'm going to get a beanie and boobs, Jack, and I'm going to be famous.
Then you could repeat yourself a bunch of times when you're reading an article and actually saying nothing and not giving any real analysis.
Have you seen Tim without his beanie? I've seen the picture that purports to be Tim without his beanie. I can't say that it was a true picture. So maybe.
I saw one picture of him without his beanie where he got his kite stuck in the kite-eating tree again. But beyond that, I'm not real sure. He really needs to stop hanging around that Lucy character because he's never going to let him kick the ball.
He's going to fuck up his back doing that.
Yeah.
Don't you already have man boobs? Yeah, but I'm going to get myself some nice woman titties. You can just buy those.
Yeah, it's like, what, 10 grand or something?
Yeah, something like that. And they stay perky until the day you die, so it's a bonus.
I guess.
Yeah, they never go down to your knees.
They got to take them out before they cremate you.
People will look at you weird because you're 90 years old with, 18-year-old perky titties. But, I mean, that's just something you got to deal with.
My wiener's confused.
Alan, thank you so much. He says, morning, monkey. Good morning, sir. And on that note, we are wrapping this one up. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you for the donations. You guys don't know how much we appreciate that. You can donate when we're offline. Feel free.
Absolutely.
Links are in the description. Jack, anything you want to show?
I'll drop some links. I got 2 videos out today that were pretty fucking awesome. But as always, thank you so much for donating to us and supporting us. You guys are amazing. Also, hi, Alan. Hope you're doing well. Thank you guys for coming out and suffering through this nonsense mess with us because holy shit, this was painful and slightly enraging.
They are so dumb.
Their self-assuredness is disheartening. Oh, thank you, Alan, for the generous donation. It says, Jack, Alan, I appreciate it, dude. I really do hope you're doing well. But I don't understand why they have such high value on themselves because Cenk and Tim are both
tards.
I don't want to say retarded, but they're cognitively disabled in a way that makes them seem to think that they can absorb things by osmosis and it makes them true. But they make weird assumptions about stuff, and it boggles my mind. And I'm still bothered by this whole thing. So thank you guys for suffering with us. And again, thank you all so much for the tips. You guys are generous.
Look, we're just not smart enough to figure out that the tensions in the Middle East that have been going on for thousands of years is because the United States wanted to build a pipeline from Turkey to wherever the fuck he said.
Yeah, it's always been about the U.S. That's it. It was a peaceful wonderland like the Garden of Eden or the Fairyland of Oz. No, the place has always been a shithole run by regional warlords and despots that want to blow each other up in their little shitty sandbox that nobody should care about. And if there's ever a reason to get off oil, it's that.
Fuck that whole region, not even the Middle East. Europe was like that until after World War II.
Yeah. Yeah, people forget that.
It was just a war-torn place, and every couple of years, somebody else was your new ruler.
Yeah, you had all sorts of little countries fighting each other. World War I kind of coalesced a lot of places. Like by the time World War I was over, Italy was fully formed. Germany was a thing. Prussia was gone. There were a lot of places that were just tiny, tiny little countries. Eventually, the Middle East will sort its shit out, but they got to kill a lot of each other first, apparently. And hopefully by then the sands will have reabsorbed all of them.
Up in the European areas, European and Northern Asia, there, a lot of that was familial. A lot of it was religious too. But down there, it is such a deep-seated religious thing, and you have these three groups right now. They're like, "This is our holy land." That is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's gonna be until somebody wipes somebody else off the face of the fucking earth. You know that eventually there has to be a victory,
or everybody calms down, which isn't going to happen. But remember, it's that pipeline. Fucking
it's not religious zealots fighting it out.
What a fucking retard, man. And again, that's not to say the United States has never taken advantage of stuff like that. Hey, these fuckers are fighting each other. Let's use that to our advantage.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
that's not the same as saying we caused it.
You know, a lot of this wouldn't be our problem right now if we'd stayed energy independent.
Yeah.
Like Trump had us set up to be. Thanks for that, Biden. Thanks for getting us back in the goddamn sandbox where we don't need to be.
Well, a lot of it wouldn't be our problem if we just let the Jews deal with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's that too. But eventually this will blow up into a giant fucking fiasco like we all know it will.
Clinton wanted his legacy. That's where a lot of this still comes from. The Oslo Accords in the 90s and Clinton's legacy in the Middle East. I wonder how much it pisses him off that Donald Trump got more done than he could.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the comedy of it.
Well, the reality of the situation is Israel and the Palestinians, they're not going to get along. So if you're wanting to stabilize that region more, you do need the Israelis working with the Jordanians and the Saudi Arabians and the Egyptians, all of the other countries around them to normalize relations.
Yeah.
And
you know what? Oh, sorry.
Then you can deal with the little terrorists inside your place. They're not being supported by as many people.
Yeah. Yeah. Egypt's been doing a pretty good job of not getting involved in this nonsense. They're like, nope, staying out of it. Nope, we've done poke that bear before.
I can't remember what tart it was I saw, but somebody's like, Egypt is going to have to get involved in this. You think Egypt wants to deal with the Palestinians? There's a reason that they're going along with the Jews. We're like, yeah, we'll just keep them right there in that little spot.
Well, and you know why Jordan's not taking any in is because it's not very often mentioned, but in 1970, they took a bunch of Palestinians in, and the Palestinians tried to overthrow the king.
Yep. But hey, it was their land from the river to the sea.
Yeah. The Jordanians were like, we're not doing that again.
Yep. And that region is kind of okay with leaving Israel to deal with those shitbags.
Yeah.
It's not their problem anymore.
No.
Anyhow, Jack, I did do a game stream last night. I got to play Ark on my stream, and I only crashed once.
Oh, that's not bad.
I had to turn the settings all the way down, but
yeah, still got to play though, right?
I did, and we'll be doing it again, but not tonight. If Bubba's still awake, it's Halloween right now, Jack. Everywhere except for California and Hawaii and Alaska. So, well, I know there's other things, but nobody cares about Oregon and Washington. But it's Halloween, so I'm gonna go ghost hunting.
Does Alaska, do the kids get to go trick-or-treating, or is it too cold? Do they all go as snowmen?
No, they beat their kids in Alaska.
I don't think that's true.
I heard that on the Young Turks.
I would believe you heard that on the Young Turks, but I don't think that's accurate.
Oh, I'm sorry. When I said it's that was so American of me. When I said it's Halloween for everybody, I only meant in America. I don't care about the rest of you. Sorry. Happy Halloween to you, but I just don't care.
Yeah, if you don't have Halloween, you're missing out because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, you guys over there in England, you really need to get it.
Yeah, same in Australia. You guys really should have Halloween. It's fucking amazing.
So, guys, that is on twitch.tv/ranting monkey. I'm going to be over there playing some Phasmophobia with my dear friend Bubba Hotep here in a couple of minutes. We'll be hunting some ghosty ghosts.
Woo!
I have to try to get up in the morning, Jack, and do some lawn work.
Yeah, I've been telling myself to do that for like a week now, and I never have the time. I'm going to mow the lawn today and 4 more hours at the parents' house.
I live in the middle of a bunch of trees, and only one of them still has any leaves on it.
Oh.
So my yard looks like a puzzle you would buy if you were a puzzle person. It's all pretty and picturesque, and then you have to deal with that shit. It doesn't just go away on its own. You have to clean that up. Otherwise, it'll kill all your grass. So I got to get a bunch of fucking leaves out of my yard again every year. That's why I want to get rid of all the trees. Fuck trees.
Wow. What up?
And this is from somebody born on Earth Day.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Remember, twitch.tv/ranting monkey, playing some Halloween Phasmophobia tonight. Jack, a pleasure as always, my friend.
Always glad to be here.
Everybody, have yourselves a wonderful night, and we'll talk to y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
If you get your news from TYT, they will tell you the Jews belong